Da-da-da-da. Okay, hello everybody. Oh boy, 100 people. A lot of people want to see us automate things away. Let's go. Okay, so warm welcome to another stream in our Black Friday special edition. A lot of streams, a lot of tutorials, a lot of AI talk, all of that good stuff. Welcome. We're gonna hang out and do some productive stuff today. Okay, so let me start things out by saying thank you so much for 300K. Holy shit. Can I swear on here? I don't think so. Seriously, all of you made this possible. And this is a week of sort of like giving back. That's how I see it. So we're going to bring a lot of the things that were requested by you in a live format. What we're going to do today is we're going to edit the automation that I showed you how to do on the channel a few weeks ago that basically uses a mix of Perplexity and ChatGPT to scrape the web and scrape a LinkedIn profile, and then runs a prompt on top of it. What we're gonna do today, we're gonna extend it. We're gonna extend it with custom data, okay? So the concrete plan for today is the following. First things first, I'm gonna welcome you. That's what I'm doing right now. Secondly, we're going to look at the automation and what it does in the extended version. Also, we included some error handling. There was an issue with it throwing a no access error sometimes. We improved it a little bit. We'll talk about that in a second here. Thirdly, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna rebuild the new automation from not from scratch, but from the blueprint point that I will share with you here today. There's a link in the description below. And we're gonna add the ability for you to add your own custom data. So for example, if you want to research somebody who's in LinkedIn, but you also have their CV that they sent in, you're going to be able to add this CV to the automation, and all of a sudden your report will include the data that you included. I hope that makes sense. So you're basically going to be able to customize this with whatever you have on the person, whatever information. Maybe it's just a sentence, maybe it's a full CV, maybe it's more, maybe it's a Wikipedia page, whatever it might be. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to implement that step by step. As soon as we do that, we're going to take some questions from you guys, and we're going to show you some potential next steps that you could be doing here or that you could be doing within Make, because within the community, we use it a bunch to teach various automations. We use it ourselves in multiple ways. And for that, I'll have Michal from the community coming on here to answer some of your questions. Also, he's already hanging out in the chat and in the background. So if you have any questions that pertain to automating things, he's one of our automation experts in the community that teach it and that work with it. He also architected this automation right here. So, if you have any questions, there's a fantastic opportunity to ask them. We'll do our best to answer your questions. If we don't have an answer, we can get back to you in the next stream on Friday. So that's the rough plan. And then I'm not on a schedule today. I'm sort of like open end. So as long as this is fun, as long as I have a little bit of energy left inside of me, and I think there's quite a bit of it, we can hang out here and we can build different things. So we're gonna get started with the step-by-step of making this automation, extending this automation. What am I talking about? Basically, I'll just switch on over to my desktop here. I'm talking about this one. Here's my camera. I'm talking about this concrete automation that I showed you a few weeks ago. We extended it with a loop here that runs it multiple times if it gets no access. And we also added extra steps where it now considers extra data. Okay. I'll show you all of the step-by-steps of this in a second here. Don't worry, no matter what level you're at, this stream is for you. I think everybody's going to be able to get something from it. And then in the end, I want to do two things. One, I want to play around a little bit. Okay, so I have this idea of implementing like a custom prompt in here. And I want to customize the report a little bit, and I want to show you what that would look like from like a prompt engineering perspective. We can also do things that you guys come up with in chat. I think that's going to be quite fun. We can kind of work in tandem. And then in the end of the stream, towards the end, or maybe like in the second half, I want to show you something that we've been building over the past, I think it's 3 months at this point because we had so many iterations. It's super cool. It includes some very complex automations in the background. We're not going to focus on that, but it's basically one. Okay, I'm not exaggerating here. It's probably my favorite way to use AI that I've, as a content creator or as maybe like a public personality that I've discovered over this entire year. And we basically finished the whole thing and I'm going to share it. It's completely free. I'm going to share it in here and then we can talk about how it works on the back end and stuff. I don't want to give too much away. It's going to be cool, okay? So if you're into using LLMs, if you're into using LLMs and automated workflows that you don't have to touch, if you're in the business world and you care about, gathering information and gaining a competitive advantage on your competitors or coworkers or whatever, I think all of those target audiences, if any one of those hits you, I think we're gonna have a great time today, and we're gonna look at some practical things to kick things off. Okay, so first we're gonna start very practical. I also wanna hit 2 more points. First of all, this is one of 5 streams this week, counting also next Monday. So I can briefly show you the schedule we have in place here. This is the Wednesday stream, how to automatically research anyone, the advanced version, because we're customizing things and doing Q&A and stuff. And then there's also 3 more streams happening. One on Friday. That's again going to be a very fun one. There's going to be a lot. So first one was like a bird's eye view. This is going to be maybe a bit more technical and focused on the automation aspect. Friday is going to be really like more prompt engineering and fun stuff and unique things we did with AI, and I have a few specials prepared there for you. And then on Saturday, we're going to have some guests, and we're going to be discussing the future of ChatGPT in 2025. And then next Monday, we're going to be evaluating the results of the challenge that I issued on Monday. Basically, the challenge asks you, like, how did AI influence your life? And the first prize winner there gets $1,000, second prize $500, third prize $100. So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out. That's Monday's stream. There's just a link in the description. Basically, I think in 2 minutes, you can catch up on the entire challenge and you can see how AI changed their life, or you can submit your own story. Okay, so now that we have that covered and you know all about the streams, I think we can get to the practical part here, which is going to be this automation. Let me just check in on chat here. Guacs assemble. I love that. Okay, so let's see. Any questions? If any questions come up, you can always share them. We have multiple mods from the AI Advantage team in the chat here. What's up, Matthias? What's up, Philip? With the Mickey Mouse profile picture. These are all technical people, so if you have technical questions, you can throw them into chat here. And also Michael is around that architected this automation. And hey, okay. This is looking great. Okay, we have Ryan Gosling in the chat here too, so that's good. Hey, what's up, Doc Rock? Yeah, ChatGPT birthday party. So again, thanks for the 300K, and also thanks to Make for making an amazing application. I want to point out that yes, they did sponsor us to do content on them, but they basically reached out to do a sponsored segment. I was like, hold up. What if we do multiple full videos? Like, we legitimately teach with your product, we use your product. Like, heck, we have an active paid subscription to your stuff. It's great for beginners. Let's just do more together. And they were like, yep, we would love that. So here we are doing more with them. But genuinely, they're the best entry-level software for no-code automations, because you can create a free account and try everything I'll show you today. And everything just works. You can try it out. If it works for you, then you can upgrade for $10. And get 10,000 actions a month. There's a link in the description below if you want to try it out. Yeah, and with that being said, let's get into the practical part. How about that? Omnipotent media, we'll talk about Sora and everything. We can talk in the second half, okay? Now I want to keep it practical, and now I want to focus on the schedule here, and then I'm happy to discuss whatever questions or stuff you guys might have. So, with that being said, let me go into screen share mode and let me go into teacher mode a little bit more. This was the intro. Now let's transition into actually making this happen. So, what's going on here? And let's catch up everybody who might not have seen the dedicated YouTube video showing how to make this happen for yourself. This is not going to be a comprehensive step-by-step going from the first to the last step. That's why the YouTube video exists. Spent a lot of time crafting that, spent a lot of time editing that. Everything there is in place for you to get to a point where we'll be continuing in this stream. That's why it's called advanced, okay? So it doesn't start at 0, but it starts at the point where the YouTube video leaves off. So where the YouTube video left off was essentially this version of the automation. Yeah, it's this. This is where the YouTube video left off, and it's very straightforward. I think, learning by showing it is the easiest. So if you have a LinkedIn link on someone, for example, here's my LinkedIn profile, then you can create a new line in this database. You paste the link in here, you say initialized, and that's all you do. Now this automation will go in and actually run multiple perplexity searches, take all the data, you process it through ChatGPT and create a report on that person, on whatever you might need, okay? So that's basically what this thing does. In action, I can show it to you in action. I guess in this case, I would run it manually because it's set up to run every 15 minutes. So I would have to sit here for 15 minutes and wait till it runs. I'll just say run once right here, and you'll see all of this kind of go through the motions here. This is the extended version already. What is the difference between the first version and the extended version? The extended version we'll be building here in a second here. The difference is mainly this up here, where it takes in an extra field and then uses that here in the ChatGPT steps. The extra field is anything you put into extra information. And one more thing changed, and that actually it showed up right now. So there's one error that we weren't able to fully iron out of this. We got closer to making it work every time, but sometimes when you run this, I would say at this point 1 out of 3 times, maybe 1 out of 4 times, it will throw no access. So instead of switching to done and doing all the work, it just goes to no access. This is a problem with perplexity. And if anybody knows exactly how to iron this out and how to remove this, let us know. But just to be clear, this is the perplexity API that we use here. And sometimes it throws a no access error. So in case it does that, you can just run it again. Plus, we can talk with Michal later on what you could potentially do to make changes here so that it doesn't happen, I don't know, 1 out of 3 or 4 times, but even less. Okay, so basically I hit, I have to switch this to initialized, and then I can run it once. The error fixing we implemented basically right here is it loops over it, I think 3 or 4 times. And if it gets no access, it just tries again. And that most of the time fixes it. Sometimes it still gets stuck on no access, as I just showed you. Okay, so let me see. Did it just happen 2 times in a row? Okay, that's very unlucky. Okay, let's give this a final spin. Initialized, running, and then you can see it go through the different motions here. Yeah, that's the thing with live stream. So this, let's see how it goes. Okay, so that's the basis of this makes sense. You put a LinkedIn profile link into your Notion, or you can also alter it to use Google Sheets or whatever. And then automatically it uses all these AI tools in tandem to create a report on the person. Yeah, now it's running. Okay, so let's get into the step-by-step. I just want this to have worked once so I can show you the result. And then we'll get to the step-by-step of adding the extra data and what kind of extra data you could add. I think this is actually the most valuable part of it because everybody can kind of look at the LinkedIn and run it through ChatGPT. But I think in the extension, that's where a lot of the power of it hides, because you might have some info or some data that is not publicly available, right? Maybe you have a CV that you received, or maybe you have just some personal knowledge. You could type it in there. Maybe you have a PDF. Maybe you have a call transcript that you can run for an analysis prompt, whatever it might be. Adding extra data, powerful. How does a Perplexity Pro account affect this, if at all? Miles, I don't think it does, except that you receive $5 of free credits, I think, with the API. So this obviously uses the Perplexity API here. And with the Perplexity Pro plan, you get $5 of the API. So that's what I have right now. I don't even use more a month. And yeah, there you go. So I think, let's just reset this, because I've been, I have to multitask here. I'm basically running the stream, reading chat, and also trying to make this work. So I'm going to focus in on the step-by-step here in a second, but we're just going to do a new line. I think this is going to be simplest, say initialized, and then we're going to remove this last one. And then all you do is this, and then you run the automation once. And hopefully it works this time. Oh, okay. Wait, something must have changed. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. So, Michal, you're in chat. Any idea why we've been testing this over the past few hours, and it ran all the times, and now that I go live, something seemed to have changed. So maybe Okay, either way, adding custom data. So, okay, so next up, I'm going to show you these 2 steps and how to alter this. I just really want this to run now. Just really want this to run now. Initialized, play. Maybe we can use the old version, or maybe we can build it from scratch, and I'll show you on that. How about that? I found I have to go into the perplexity step and resaves it. Yeah. Yeah, now it worked. It worked like a charm, you see? So there you go. But we'll rebuild it from scratch, and we can troubleshoot and change things afterwards. So you can see right now it's in the 4th perplexity search step here, and it's working it out. It's in progress. So this is how it's supposed to go. I don't know. I guess you'll just have to trust my words that on 3 out of 4 runs this thing works. Yeah. And it takes a little bit, okay? So it takes about a minute for the thing to complete, because it does pull a lot of data together here. And also some of the APIs are rather slow, you know, perplexity isn't instant. There you go. It ran the ChatGPT step, and now it's in the last steps of formatting it and adding it to the Notion. And I think right now we should be able to see it like streaming in here. So it's adding the different pieces of text, right? Like this is fully handoff, just automated, all comes in here. But this is why we're doing the live, okay? We want to show the reality of it, because yeah, with edited videos, you kind of just, you can, if something goes wrong, you can just edit it out, right? Like here, we're going to handle everything live, step by step. So, you know, might take a little more time, but we'll get there. And there you go, it's finished. Yeah, it switched to done. And here I have the full CIA report on Igor Pogani. And I did this by also altering the prompt, which we'll also do in the end. So, glad that worked out. And yeah, you can ask your chats in chat, multiple people answering it there. Do we approach these tools from the backend using APIs? Yes, 100% big fish. So here we have different connections set up with the Perplexity API, with the ChatGPT API, and also with the Notion database. I showed how to set up those connections in the original video. So let's get to the step-by-step finally. Okay, this took maybe, 3-4 minutes longer than I intended, but glad we got it to work. What we're gonna do here is a step-by-step on how to get this to work from scratch. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna open up a new scenario, okay? And then in here, you're going to import a blueprint. What blueprint are you going to import? If you go into the description of this video, you should have access to this folder that I included there. You're gonna see one make blueprint researcher with today's date. That's one blueprint. That's the one we'll be working with right now. Or if you want to skip the step-by-step that I'll be doing over the next 10-15 minutes, you can just go straight to the second one. That one has the added extra info steps in it already. But if you want to follow along, or if you just want the state of it as it is right now, you can get the first one. Our endpoint will be the extra info one. Okay, so let me know if that works. I believe these files should be publicly available. Now let's get to it. Okay, so I'll choose a file. I will take the original one, the researcher one, the starting point, and I will save it. Voila, and instantly you get to this spot, okay? So you have this, so as I talked about in the video, you can import this in a second on a free account, and you're basically set except of the connections. In the video, I show you exactly how to establish the different connections. So we'll just go through this step by step. I already established the connections, but I have to like reconnect these things. So I'll start with the Perplexity nodes. So basically my Perplexity connection 2 is the newest one that I set up, and just there you go. You just have to do this, once you establish the connection. So I established them in advance. As I said, if you have never established a connection in Make, then just go check out the tutorial video. It literally includes a step-by-step on what URLs to go to and what to copy where. You don't need any technical knowledge to do this, okay? This is very, very straightforward. That's the beauty of Make. Okay, so we do this, then we go over here. We also pick the connection. We say, okay, I got this one, right? Okay, I have to concentrate a little bit so we make it through smoothly here. My Perplexity connection 2, okay? And right there, excuse me, right there, we have all the Perplexity connections set up. So Now that we have the perplexity connections, we can go to our ChatGPT connections next. So there's one node here, OpenAI connection 2, perfect. Just wait until OK becomes purple. Say OK. And then in this one, we also do it. And this is one of the beauties of Make. This is one of the reasons, and like, honestly, this is one of the reasons we love to teach with it, because it saves all the presets. There's some other no-code automation softwares out there where if you provide a blueprint, it doesn't save all the prompt presets. So then you would have extra steps of having to, you know, set all of this up, linking with the variables and putting the prompts in here. This is all just preset. Like, this is all I needed to do, right? I gave you the blueprint, you imported it with one click, and then you just have to enable the connections. So it links to your OpenAI account and not mine, right? So there you go. OpenAI linked, Perplexity linked, leaving one more thing. Okay, that's the Notion step. So instead of Notion, what we want to do is we want to link it to this database. I called it Igor's Auto Researcher. For you in the video, I provided you a template that was called DB Researcher template. So you would be looking for this or whatever you renamed it to. In my case, I named it Igor's Auto Researcher. So I'm going to just take that name, and here in all the Notion nodes, I'm going to Igor's Auto Researcher 2. And here, as I showed you in the video, right? Again, we're just repeating what was in the video partially. I click search, and here in the query, I just search for it, and Notion will find the database by itself and link the database ID. I don't have to do any fancy, you know, whatever parsing of the URL and the database ID. I just search for it. I say okay, and here I say okay. Again, next one, we do the same thing, and we're just going to repeat this step a few times. I'm going to say okay here, and say okay again, and then there's 4 more. So pick my connection, search for my database, okay. And as you can tell, this is basically the process of transferring this automation from my account to your account, okay? So obviously I had this set up already, but I wanted to show you this step by step so you can literally see which buttons to click as you're going through this. There's 3 more. One right here, Auto Researcher 2. Okay. Very nice. There's 2 more. This is funny because, you know, if we were recording this, it would be like, hey, I'll see you in a second as soon as I connected all of them. And here in the live, we actually go step by step. It's different, but I like it. I think I prefer, even though things can go wrong, I really enjoy live streams because you guys are here, you know, the chat is here, and we get to do this together. It's much more fun. Excellent. So, you know, quick double check. This is linked. 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 This is linked, just to make sure I've got all of them. And that's it. Okay, we linked everything up. So there you go. So now this thing is like fully functional, basically. All I need to do is I can say save once, and I can turn this on to run every 15 minutes. You could change the intervals. I'm just going to keep this at every 15 minutes. And if I wanted to, I could also rename it. And I'm going to do one thing here, and this is just for me, so you don't have to copy this, but I'm going to turn off I'm going to save the changes here, and I'm going to turn off the other scenario, right? Because now I created a duplicate of this, right? I showed you the first demo that was already set up. I'm going to turn that one off. So we're only going to use this version 2 that we just worked with. Excellent. Okay, so this is fully functional, right? I have the Notion linked, I have the Perplexity API linked, I have the ChatGPT API linked, and everything is in place. So now I could just close this and like just disregard this completely and only use my Notion database. So on a day-to-day, if I want to research somebody, I would take you know, their LinkedIn profile like so, just the URL. Okay, so I'll just copy the LinkedIn URL, and I would put it in here, and then if I would put it in here like so, and then I just switch this to initialized, okay? And then within 15 minutes, this automation will check in the background and see, hey, is there anything new inside of this Notion database? Is there a new link that has been initialized? If yes, let me run the full automation that I just showed you. Okay, so we're not gonna wait for 15 minutes here. I mean, unless you want to, we can kind of like just play music and hang out for 15 minutes until this runs by itself. No, I think it's better to just hit this button here and we can run it manually once, okay? So let's see if it works. This is the new version, version 2. And yeah, as you can see, it got past it. It got the info. Everything is running. This is completely hands-off. Let me read the chat meanwhile. And yeah. Okay. Okay, it's still running. Yeah, so thanks so much to the mods for answering some of these technical questions here in chat. It's much appreciated. Also, Michael, maybe you could look at what is Perplexity providing? Why use it over SERP? That's a good question. This compares to standard Perplexity, Toyo. Yeah, so it's completed. So I can just briefly show you here. But yeah, it's completed. And here is the standard report on Igor Pugani based on all the LinkedIn data. Now, if you want the formatting, you can just copy and then Command Shift V, paste it back in, and you have the Markdown formatting too. And there you go. Custom report on me with Perplexity. So Voyo, to address your question, yeah, this basically uses fine-tune of Llama that Perplexity uses. They also give you the choice on their side. And it runs various search prompts in the process. We can look at those later, and we'll be doing some prompt engineering here to alter this, okay? But basically, now this ran, and it gave us this custom report. Now, the next step here, as I talked about, is going to be extending this. So here we get to the interesting part, in my opinion. Here we get to the part where we're going to be adding some extra steps to add your custom data. And what custom data do we add? We'll look at that later on. Let's now look at the technical part of implementing this. All right. So, first things first. Where do I have this? Yeah, see my screen, see everything. So first things first, we're going to be adding 2 nodes, okay? So we want to add them right here in the beginning, but basically you can add nodes here with this flow control and these tools, these tool buttons, okay? This is where some of them are hidden. So we're going to add one iterator up here. And basically this can run loops for any more technical people. I'm going to try to keep this super, non-technical friendly, because I think that's the whole point of this. You can import blueprints and don't have to deal with, variables and what kind of loops you need. But we're going to add one iterator, and we're going to add one aggregator right here, like so. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to connect this. Ah, my bad. Nope. It auto connects like so. So as you can see, we have these 2 extra steps here on top that we connected in here, okay? Now we still have to fill these out, but basically what this is going to do is the following. This iterator is going to look at my text field in the auto researcher database. So you can see this extra column here called extra information. I can put anything in here, okay? Any text I can put in here, and it's going to look at it, and then it's going to, I don't know how technical I should go, but it's gonna like iterate over every line of the text, and it's gonna compile the different lines that are split by line breaks into a string. And that string, it will pass back into the ChatGPT summarization step here in a second. In simpler terms, it's just gonna take whatever you put into that field, and it's gonna feed it to ChatGPT when it creates your summary later on top of all the internet research. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So what are we gonna do exactly? We're gonna modify this iterator. So I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna give it the extra information from the Notion. How am I gonna do that? I'm just gonna click in this field, okay? And then I can basically scroll down. And inside of here, I can give it this extra information right here, extra information. See that? So this takes the extra information column here from the notion, right? And it selects it, and now it can iterate over it. Okay. Basically, I say okay here. And this one, I will go to the 55 step. I will take everything this iterator created, and I will set this to plain text. Okay, so this one will turn all of the different lines the iterator collected into something that we can later use on as one unit. Okay, so these two steps, very simple, but very powerful, because now we copied everything that we inserted. So you can like put as long as it fits into the context window, you can put a multi-page CV into the extra information field, and now it will pick it up. But we have to do one more thing. We have to go down here. We have to go into this step right here that combines all the variables and all the different information that happens throughout the automation. And we're gonna add a new piece of info, which we can do like so. We'll just add a little delimiter here. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add the step from the previous from this aggregator. Okay. So the way this works is I just gotta make sure I have the number right. So you can see the aggregator was tools with the number 56. So I'm gonna look for that in here. Okay, it's right here. But basically the way you can do this is it always goes from the last node before what you're editing. So right now we're editing this, so it goes backwards. Okay, so if I go in here again, I will want to go all the way backwards to the variable with the number 56. Okay, so basically I just click this, okay, text. And I believe that concludes it. This way we edited it so we can have extra context in our process. And now what happens here later on, like we don't have to edit anything anymore. And I gave you the preset with these edits that happened already. I just wanted to make sure you know how it is, you know how the cake is made. But basically now the next ChatGPT step will not just pull in the search output and all the other context here, but it will also pull in the extra field that we added to our automation here, okay? And then ChatGPT can use all of that context to do whatever it does. So, a little bit of zooming going on here, my bad. Now we're set up, okay? We could click save scenario here. And what will happen now is that if I go to my little auto researcher and I redo the process, so basically I just add a new line. I set this to, well, maybe not yet. Now I can go in here and add extra info, okay? I'll show you a simple example first and then a more complex example later. So one that came to my mind immediately is you could just add extra facts about the person, okay? So if you're creating a meeting preparation summary and you know something about them, like, hey, they just, their wife just had a newborn child, then you can add that in here and it will be included in the summary. In this case, I'm gonna do something ridiculous and fun because I don't know, I guess that's where my mind goes. He's the male equivalent of a cat lady with a house full of cats. He also likes to put hats on the cats. There you go. So now we have some extra info, right? Something ridiculous about me. It's not true. I don't even have cats. I actually have a bit of a cat allergy, not too strong, but I do like those little creatures. So this info will be considered on top of what Perplexity finds and what it finds on LinkedIn. So I'm gonna set this to initialized and I'm gonna run this once. And if I did everything correctly, then we should be good to go. Let's see, let me look at chat here. Additional variable fields, example uses, absolutely. So this is what I'm gonna do next. So this was a very simple and kind of fun one. but I'm gonna show you something more practical with a CV next year. Yeah, so I think this is a pretty awesome flow. And like, especially by learning how to add this extra field, you can add multiple extra fields, right? That's why I really, really wanted to show you this live and also show you the step-by-step live, because you could just copy these 2 steps and add them a few more times. And instead of this one field, you would just pick another field that you add in your Notion. And yeah, and off you go. Let's see if it worked. No. Unlucky. Okay. Let's do all of this again and run it. But yeah, you could basically add multiple extra fields. And I think this is the awesome thing, okay? So you could have one for extra information, but then you could have another one for, let's say, CV, and another one for, I don't know, gender, age, whatever. You could really customize this, and you could make somebody in your company or maybe somebody in your HR department fill out all the different fields, and you could create customized reports on somebody based on a database of info. Of course, if you take this further, you could directly feed that info from a CRM, right? So like here it is set up that you manually enter the info, but you could go out and even if you take this all the way, you could have an agent that scrapes the web and performs specific actions and like a whole flow of actions. And all of that, the result would need to be data being filled into this part. I don't know, let me try one more time. But basically, you could infinitely customize this. And I think that's the awesome thing about this, especially adding this extra step. Okay, pray for me. Okay, there's some great answers from Mikhail in chat there to anybody who asked some questions. If you have further questions, we're happy to handle those too. Mikhail, maybe in our chat in a second, we can have, so now it worked. We can have a look at this no access thing. We can make the loop run more often, and we can talk about some potential ways to troubleshoot this. But yeah, even if it's a coin flip, I think it's pretty amazing to have this at your disposal, especially with the custom data. So as you can see now, it's working perfectly, and it's just running, and yeah. And off we go. So I'm just not sure if I talk too much and if I did I successfully paste it in here, or was I still in editing mode and then it doesn't have the data. Nevertheless, we can let it run. We can let it run one more time just to make sure. But like what happens now is it considers everything in here. Okay, that fits within the context window of like. Yeah, I wouldn't go because it adds a lot of context from the perplexity searches. So I would say like somewhere around. You're safe if you don't go over 12 to 15,000 tokens in this field, which is a lot. But yeah, so this is done. Let's see if I copied it into it. I don't think I have, I think. Yeah, I think I was still copying it. That's why I did it again. But okay, so this one's in progress. It's running again. Let's see. Let's let it work. But yeah, there you go. So now that you know the process, you can add your own data to this. And let me show you a more practical use case to use this, rather than talking about like preferences for cats or whatever. So I can already get started in this. This runs in the background. Let's see. So I think you get the point here. Like so. Run it one more time. Okay, so it seems to be working great now. Good. So how do you use this practically? So practically, you will be in scenarios like this. For example, you will have a CV, right? And this is not even, so this is from my folder here, this is not even a written CV. This is just a JPEG of a CV. So what do? This automation obviously only takes text. And this is where like LLMs come in. Like one of the main properties that I talk about all the time and that you're probably aware of is it's amazing at transforming one format into another. Whether it's, text to music in the case of all the video, all the music generators, or it's your short prompt into a blog post, essay, email, It's really good at transforming one thing into another thing based on everything it learned. That's really the essence of it. So I could give it a JPEG here and tell it transform, I always like that word, this into text. And then basically it will turn this CV, JPEG of a CV into text. And you could do the same thing with you know, any document. But as soon as you turn it into text, I can then copy paste all of this text, put it into my database, and do some LinkedIn research on Olivia. And as you can see here, it ran multiple times in a row, so it's a bit of a coin flip here. But as you can see, and by the way, again, this is 100% related to Perplexity. I just want to make that clear. We still like using it though, and yeah, but it worked here. So if I open this newest entry, then it should consider all that. Okay, maybe we can pull in Michal here in a second and troubleshoot the stuff. But basically, back on track. So here we have the full CV in written form, right? You can now either copy it like so, or copy the whole thing even with the intro. Doesn't really matter. Voila, copy, go into the Notion. And then in a new entry, I could just paste this in here, right? And all of a sudden I have a full CV in here. And then, I don't know, are we going to be able to find Olivia Wilson? I don't think so. That was just a placeholder on, X. But I could also leave out the link, right? But in this case, what do? We leave out the link, or we do a mix of Olivia Wilson and me. It will be a bit confused there. But I think you see the point here. You can put any useful information in here, put a link in here, and I'll just skip the link and see how this goes. So we're here to experiment today, right? Like that's the point. Like if we run into things, if we run into questions, we'll figure them out. But yeah, it basically has no link now, so I think it does require a link. So this is the point. You could copy paste CVs into here. You can copy paste information you know yourself. And one thing that is like even more interesting, and this is the stuff I would like to discuss in the second half, we're going to be experimenting a little bit. You could do something like this, okay? Listen up for a second. So you could take the transcript of, for example, this live stream, and then you could run some specific analysis prompts inside of ChatGPT to extract information from that live stream, okay? So this works well with, for example, phone calls. You can pull transcripts of the phone calls, and then you can create specific psychological types of psychological analysis based on what it sees in the transcript, okay? Every single prompt you might have that is some sort of analysis prompt works like a charming combination with this workflow, because there's a lot of subtext in what people say and the way they formulate their sentences, right? We're going to talk about the concrete example of the CIA analysis prompt that went gigaviral a few weeks ago. But basically that prompt takes somebody's profile or some knowledge about a person and creates a CIA intelligence style report on somebody, including, you know, their psychological traits and their vulnerabilities and whatever else it can pick up on from the data you give it. And then you can add that as the extra info in your little researcher flow. So basically, this goes as deep as you can prompt ChatGPT, I would say, you know? And it's really good at analyzing different documents or transcripts, live stream transcripts, call transcripts for psychological profiles of people. And then if you add that, obviously you're gonna get more relevant and more in-depth information, right? If you have psychological traits of somebody as a part of your report, as opposed to just what they decide to share on their LinkedIn. So that would be sort of my pro tip. You can really extend this with some relevant data, and you can really use ChatGPT to extract some relevant data from transcripts if you prompt it correctly. The CIA prompt is a fantastic example of that. So we're going to be doing that in a second here. Loving that the chat is fully functioning here. Also, I would love to hear some of your ideas. If you have any concrete ideas on what you would like to add in this flow, we can do that. But right now, let me go back to a little automation here. So let's see. So We have the extra context here. This is quite long. We can always add. So yeah, add the CV. Okay, so I think it's time to slowly but surely transition to the playing around part, because that's what I've been personally looking forward to the most, because we can do a little bit of prompt engineering and then alter this node in here and make custom things happen in this automation. But let's see. Yeah, this is a bit frustrating live if it doesn't work every time, but hey, that's okay. That's okay. We still have a lot on the docket here. So next up, we're going to talk about different automations that we use in the background, and we're going to answer some of the questions you have here. So Mikhail, I would bring you on here soon. If you're ready to go, you can kind of like give me a thumbs up in the back room here. Just let me know. But basically, next up, I wanna have a little chat with Mikhail and explore some of the automations that we built inside of Make for the AI Advantage community, the AI Advantage YouTube channel, and just a few things that we did recently with this. We used it in various creative ways. This is just one of them. Also, we have one more automation flow coming up on the channel, and I would love the community's feedback. Everybody here, I would love your input on what you make of that and how we could extend it, and if you wanna, if it's actually something that's interesting to you. So we have a few more. Could we get this to iterate for a file containing multiple LinkedIn profiles? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you could just, yeah. So we could customize this to add multiple perplexity steps where it does the same thing to multiple LinkedIn profiles. And then you would vary this tool so it adds multiple search outputs. And then the ChatGPT step will pull in everything that's in here, and it will simply consider multiple LinkedIn profiles. Yeah, you could do that. But it probably may, you know, like mixing multiple LinkedIn profiles is probably a bit messy. So this is really set up to like research one person. So that's why it would be good here if we, you know, had Olivia's CV and or my CV. I don't really have a CV. We can maybe quickly AI generate one, but I think you get the point. So next up, we're going to talk about some of the questions here in chat, and we're going to talk about some of the other automations we have running in the background. So that should be quite fun, because like some of them were just like a brainchild of mine. I was like, hey, we should do this, and then we found a way to do that. And the others are something that's actually quite convenient, and that I'm grateful for the fact that it's running on an everyday basis. Michal, are you ready to go? Do you want to come in? Do you want to hop in on stream? I can dial you in right here, very simply. Let's see. Okay, so everybody, welcome Michal. What up, my man? Everything all right?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, this is excellent. So like, just a quick backstory and introduction to Michal. We actually met through the Advantage YouTube channel. And actually, when I first published the first version of the course and started doing the bi-weekly live events, I remember Michal was one of the regulars that was always there, always following up with thoughtful questions or suggestions on what else we could do. Then later on, when we started the community, he came in and I think he won one of the first technical challenges with a GPT. It was a challenge. It was the Nerd Without Glasses challenge, if I remember right. Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically the challenge was saying that, hey, okay, here's a picture of a nerd without glasses. Now find a way to prompt ChatGPT to recreate this image. It's a really tricky challenge, because every time you use the word nerd, it's never associated with the fact that it doesn't have glasses, right? In all popular media, every nerd has glasses. And Mikhail won the challenge because he had the most innovative idea and approach to that. Do you want to just briefly share what you did there, if you remember? I don't know, just but
it was
really cool.
a long time ago, but what was really interesting, the challenge was when I joined the community, and I remember I created this GPT just before I joined the community, and that was when I was testing the GPT to generate the consistent images, trying to regenerate from the input. And that was how it was trying to recreate this image. It was trying to describe the image, what it see, and after that change the prompt to generate the image to get this without the glasses.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially everybody else was trying to like to recraft the prompt and to figure out a way around it, and Mikhail was like, let me automate this. Let me build a GPT that like looks at this and comes up with the prompt by itself, as you shared there. So that was pretty awesome. And then like over time, we've just seen more and more of your work, and now recently you joined us in the AI Advantage team, and you help with a lot of things that relate to automations. And so you already answered some pretty technical and interesting questions in here, but let me ask you something that doesn't even relate to this automation. What other flows have we recently built, or like what other flows have we recently worked on together? And then maybe we can have chat ask questions about them. But I think two of them I think really stand out that we recently created, right?
Yes, yes. One is for assigning the users to the district. The simpler one, I think so, because
Yeah.
it was really depend on which the user choose the answer, so it automatically know to which district should it connect without even integrating this with any LLM. So it was really simple.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
just
So that's this one. I have a picture of it up. I threw it up on our faces. I hope you don't mind. I have it in the middle of the stream right here. But yeah, basically, just as Michael described, basically this automation does the following. If somebody new joins the community and they fill out the onboarding form, it looks at the answers that they provided and it assigns them to one of three districts that we have in the community. We have the LLM district, which is all things, ChatGPT and prompting and all the new releases. We have the creative district, which is all things image and video creation. And we have the no-code district, which is all about any tools that might be using LLMs under the hood or any other form of generative AI in a no-code interface to do things like this. And basically, depending on what answers you provide on the onboarding, this automation is like I think we joked around, is like the sorting hat from Harry Potter, right? It's like when you come into Hogwarts for the first time, or any Harry Potter fans out there, they put a sorting hat on every kid, right? And the hat basically picks up and sorts them into one of the houses. It's like, hey, Slytherin. It's like Hogwarts. Oh no, you're Hufflepuff, whatever. And we basically made the same thing happen with this automation. So before we used to do this manually, we used to review all the results of the survey. We still do, but this sorting happens automatically. So if somebody joins the community, they share their preferences with us, and then the automation we have here basically decides, hey, you belong in the LLM and the creative district, and don't bother with no code for now. You can always join that later, but I think that's pretty amazing. And it's something that we used to do like on a daily basis. Anytime a new member joined, we kind of had to do it manually. And now it just happens like this because the make automation runs 24/7. What interval did you set that one to? How often does it check?
I switched a few days ago because it also allows to run. This automation starts each time when it detects any changes in the database. So I just switch, instead of checking every 10 minutes to an hour, because sometimes the database maybe will be with the same person will be changed because person added his name, description, but we don't want to check every time for this, so it's just running every hour. And after that, it's assigning to the district if it detects that the user filled the form. And what's really important, switching from 10 minutes to 1 hour saved, uses 5 times less the usage.
See, so right there, a pro tip, if you could set the interval to every minute, but then some actions will run every minute and it will run up your account faster. So if you set the interval to be lower, for us, we don't get multiple we don't get multiple members an hour at all. So like it's totally fine if it just checks once an hour, and if somebody joined an hour ago, then it goes into this. In the case of this automation that we just looked at, we set it to every 15 minutes. That's the default and sort of seems to make sense. If you add something, you can check back in 15 minutes and you have the research on the person. If you up the interval, it will just eat through your actions faster. So this is one thing that you can play with inside of Make to preserve the amount of actions you have per month. They reset every month on the plan. So yeah, Karsten Lee is asking webhook, I guess. Was it a direct typeform integration or was it a webhook, Michael? How did you bring the answers over from the form to the automation?
How did we get? We just had this form with the information, with possible answers and specific answers respond for specific districts.
Yeah.
And that's all, because the automation in the background, there's another automation that is filling the Notion database when user fills the form, when user adds any information about himself. So
Yeah.
that's just only for assigning to the districts after the user filled the form.
Okay, I get it. So you split it up into two parts. One part is, hey, the form gets transferred to the Notion, and this automation, once it sees the data in the Notion, makes the decision. Okay, and then the other automation that gets the data from the type form. By the way, hint, hint. This is relating to the thing that I wanted to show you later. Type form and automations. It's gonna be cool. If you take the data from the type form, how did you take it? Is there a type form integration, or did you use a webhook, or how did you get the data into Notion? If you remember, you can pull it up. By the way, none of this is scripted, right? We're just kind of like chatting here, and as questions come up, we handle them.
It's hard to say right now.
Okay, no worries. Maybe you can just look that up meanwhile in your question. But yeah, Karsten just asked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can tell you, Typeform can throw webhooks. You can add an action at the end of every either result or outcome in the end, and it can trigger a webhook that you can then catch with make. And yeah, so you can wonderfully link it like this. I think there's also a native Typeform integration though, but webhook is probably the most versatile way to do it. Yeah. So, okay, there you go. We have one more automation, right? Like that we wanted to chat about. Maybe Michael, don't worry about it too much. Like whatever. Like I know Typeform can do webhooks. So basically that's probably the Karsten. Yeah, you can totally do that. I can also show you how to do it if you really want to. Actually did it just yesterday. So, the second automation that we have in place, that one is a bit more intricate. And we're currently debating if we should do a tutorial on the YouTube channel for this. I would also love to hear in chat if this is something you're interested in or you would like to see something else. Let us know. But basically, can you summarize the second automation? This one is a bit more fun.
Yes. First thing, in the community, we also have some guides how to fine-tune the GPT. And one thing I did is just fine-tuning the Igor. With the Igor style to learn the GPT, to teach the GPT to answer in the Igor style. So it was really funny because we were testing this with the AI news you can use. So we just wanted to summarize in the Igor style the text. But after that, I started this using after team meeting to summarize the content, what we did from the transcription. And after that, also we have Igor voice in 11 Labs. So we just generated Igor voice with this summary in his style. And right now, the AI Igor can summarize our team meetings.
Exactly. So that's the result right there. Okay. So we hold team meetings once a week, and the automation pulls in the full transcript of the team meeting, and then uses a fine-tuned model on my most recent 30 videos that basically speaks exactly like I do. Like it alters ChatGPT in the deepest way possible, I would say. And then the automation uses the fine-tuned model and on top of the meeting summary, and it runs another summary. And then it also uses 11 labs that has been trained on my custom voice. And basically the result is it summarizes a 1 hour long meeting into a 2-minute long voice memo in my voice in the style I speak in. It's actually quite funny. I just realized maybe we should show one of these, but you don't have to do anything, Michael. I can pull this from one of our recent conversations. Like, I'm not saying they're perfect. They're not perfect by any account. And also I don't want to like share every detail of our team meetings here. But maybe we could have a little listen into this. There's a question here from Zombie Gamer Realm. Do I need my own API key for ChatGPT to run a Makeflow? Short answer is yes, absolutely. The video that covered the step-by-step shows you how to do this. So basically, it's linked in the description below. You can go to the YouTube video. There's a step-by-step. You need to go to the OpenAI Playground, get your API key, and set up a connection inside of Make once. The entire process, if you've never done it before, it takes 5 minutes tops, maybe minimum 1 minute or something. I could show you here in 1 minute, but I think the video covers it, so no need to go over it twice. But I think this like custom thing is pretty cool. So I'm sort of, okay, this is very unprepared. So we're gonna pull up a random meeting summary. I'm just gonna look into our Slack conversation here, pull one of the recent ones. And we're gonna play it to the stream, and you're gonna see what's a team meeting summary on a fine-tuned version of Igor with a custom voice in 11 labs sounds like. Okay, that's a mouthful. Basically, long story short, this is what you look. This is what it sounds like if you use AI to summarize voices. Okay, how can I get it into stream here? Can I just open this up inside of QuickTime Player? I think this should work. Let's see. Let me briefly switch on over to the desktop view. I think here we get the computer audio. Sorry, Michael, you're invisible for a moment here. And let me just see if this is audible. Also, it's not perfect, right? So there's like hiccups here and there, but I think it gets the tone really well, the fine tune. And I think also the voice just sounds like me. Let's see. Hey team, welcome back. This is Igor with the recap of the AIA weekly team meeting from October 28th, 2024. Okay, let's get into it. Is that audible? I think it's audible, right? I think the system audio is coming in clean here. Chat, just please confirm if you're getting this. I'll play like, I don't know, 20 seconds of this and hopefully nothing, you know, like I think this is fine, but this is amazing. It's all done with Make also. Just automation that takes all of this, pulls all of this together. I was a bit late joining the meeting because there were 2 calendar links that confused me. By the time I got there, Raluca, Matthias, and Daniel were talking about food and local customs. Let's move on to last week's events. Okay, I asked for feedback, and Matthias shared his positive impressions about the presentation, mentioning that the vocabulary was strong, though pronunciation could be improved. Then we had an interesting discussion about whether American English is actually native English, which, well, it is in my opinion. Raluca, but see how it like uses the way I phrase things inside of. This is trained on use you can use. Okay, so the Friday show we pulled in I think over 30 episodes and turned them into a data set for fine tuning. But like, see how it speaks like me. This doesn't speak like generic ChatGPT. It does this. I don't know. It just has this way of speaking as I do. I think this is brought up the need for standardized PowerPoint templates for events with consistent branding. Matthias supported the importance of color consistency, but noted that structures can vary. I confirmed that we have templates on Notion and suggested we collaborate on a new one. Hey team, just to summarize topic 4 of our meeting. Matthias reported back on the success of our no-code ethics talk and Replet agents events. Meanwhile, Dominique mentioned the low turnout for their event. We then circled back to how we can improve event attendance. Different formats and marketing strategies were explored. And I suggested we could try pre-recorded mini courses to set the stage for future sessions. Like, isn't this amazing? I think this is pretty amazing. So like the voice definitely sounds like me, and the fine-tuned model also like speaks as I do. This does not sound like ChatGPT, right? So I don't know. I think this is pretty awesome. So this is the next video we want to do. So like we partnered with Make to do 2 videos on the channel. I was like, hey, we want to show off multiple flows. The first one was this research automation that I showed you, and the second one could be this. Feedback seems to be really positive in chat so far. If anybody has any feedback or suggestion or what we could put in here, then we can do that. It sounds like a spy reporting back. It does, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, somebody listening in. But yeah, I can basically show you how to do this full flow, and then you can use it for your own meeting reports, or you could, you could do something like take your boss's voice and train a 11 Labs model on it, and then all of a sudden you can give meeting reports to your boss in his voice. I don't know. You can use this however you want, as long as it complies with your local regulation, I suppose. But yeah, this is something pretty cool that I didn't even plan to show here, but like, there we go. So yeah, pretty amazing. Ryan saying that is crazy accurate. Yeah, I think it's surprising. I'll say this about fine-tuning. Michael, like maybe I would love to hear about your experience with fine-tuning, because I know you created a lot of fine-tunes with us lately. But in my experience, nothing communicates and transfers the style as deeply as a fine tune, right? Like you can prompt all you want, you can give all the examples, you can use all the prompting tricks, but nothing cuts as deep as a fine tune. What do you think about that statement? And what
Yes.
do you make of fine tuning?
Yes, I think so. Fine tuning is the best way to get this thing. For example, we have your voice, your writing style from the AI news you can use, but also we have a different fine tuning with the Daniel from our team that's responsible for creating the newsletter.
Yeah,
And also we starting generating part of the newsletter with this fine-tuned GPT.
yeah.
And what's really important, English is not my native language, so
Ah, yeah,
for me it might be really hard to describe exactly to GPT what I want, what I expect from it, how it should respond in this specific style. But when we fine tuning, we're not writing to GPT what it should do, but how we showing how it should write.
yeah.
And that's, I think, sometimes better is to show than just to write.
That's amazing. That's a great insight because, like, just like with multi-shot prompting, you give it multiple examples. In this case, you just give it 30, 50, 100 examples of how it should speak. And you don't really have to describe it. You just show it, right? Which is an amazing way. Yeah, that's a good insight that I haven't thought about. Yeah, totally. So fine tunes. This is what you can do with fine tune with a combination of different like AI tools, right? We use 11 Labs for the voice. We use fine tuned GPT. Was this a GPT 4.0 mini model? I think. You remember?
Right now, I use more for O because it's still slightly better results, but also I test comparing the for O and for Mini for the newsletter, and it's similar, but I still think in my opinion the for O is better.
Okay. Okay. Good. So increase in price, but recommended. Yeah, so fine-tuned 4.0 model and all brought together in Make, right? Like you can have all of these standalone things. You can prompt in ChatGPT. You can use the 11 Labs platform to create the voices, but there's a lot of copy pasting included. There's a lot of manual work included. Like, as just like with this automation, right? I could totally go on a LinkedIn profile. I could select everything. I could copy it. I could paste it inside of ChatGPT. I could summarize it. I could run a web search. I could pull in the different information and put it into ChatGPT and summarize it. But along the way, I will have, I don't know, spent 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I will have spent 10 minutes and I don't know how many clicks. And all of that I can just set up inside of the automation once, make it scan every 15 minutes, set it and forget it. And, worst case scenario, you're going to get a no access error in the automation and you'll have to run it one more time. But that is basically seconds of your time lost versus every single time having to spend 5 to 10 minutes. And let's be real, like most people, including me, just do not want to spend the time like searching the web for information on somebody. Like, of course, it's a good idea to research somebody before you meet with them, right? A little bit, look at their LinkedIn, see what they're up to, Google them, have ChatGPT summarize it all. Of course, that's a good idea. How many people do it? Well, not many. Only the people who have like personal assistants, like politicians, who get meeting summaries like this, right? With the power of tools like this, you can actually reasonably do this all the time. So maybe let's round it out on this point. So let's just, because obviously I got the no access error here a few times. As I said, I think usually it's like a 75% success rate, sometimes 50%. Let's just briefly talk about that. So this is it's a perplexity problem, right? And
Uh,
we also
I
talked about working on this, and then I'll circle back on Friday to see if we can get you improved and fixed version in the next live stream. But yeah, what do you make of this, and what could we do to fix this in the future?
There are two things. One thing is sometimes the perplexity because we have the similar problem with a different automation when it's trying to get information from the X. But another thing that also I think the Ryan mentioned is the problem that we're just trying to connect this from the internet without any signing in, and sometimes the link in my blog unsigned connections. So when we also were testing this automation for about an hour before the meeting. So we're still trying to run this very, very often. So maybe the link is a bit trying to block too many requests at once.
That is a good. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, because we literally sat here an hour before and ran this a bunch of times, and it worked. I think once we got the no access error here before, and all of a sudden we start the stream and it froze it multiple times. So that might be it. It's LinkedIn just blocking too many. So yeah, you probably won't be able to do this, to research like dozens of people at once. That's just a restriction from LinkedIn. So it's not even Perplexity, but LinkedIn. That's it. I think that's right.
Yes,
Because like,
the LinkedIn,
yeah.
my think it's something like the DOS attack. It's too many requests at once in a
Also,
short
they're
time.
man, that's a great point. Also, they're quite problematic and like restricted with scraping. I know that. Like, I think the terms of service even say that hey, like no scraping is allowed, but in practice you can do it, but like it will limit you after a certain. And like what's practically happening
Yes,
here is yeah,
and one thing, our automation also don't trying to scrape information that are not accessible through the internet. If
yeah,
you go to your profile on the LinkedIn and set it's available only for the user that are logged into the profile,
yeah.
the automation cannot access this, because the simplest way to check is the profile accessible from the web is just copy the link to the profile, open incognito browser,
Yeah.
and check does it load. Is it load? It should be accessible, but in a different situation, it's not.
Okay, man, really good insights right there. Thank you so much, Michal, for sharing some of your knowledge. As mentioned, like Michal is hanging around, so if you have any other technical questions, guys, you can ask him in chat. Michal will be around to do that. Yeah, thank you so much, Michal. Any final notes or thoughts before I move on to playing a little bit with this and showing the people a few more things?
I see a few messages, so I'm going to answer right now.
Okay, yeah, excellent. Also, yeah, it's some funny ones there. Yeah, if there's any questions, let's go. But thank you for pointing that out. It didn't even occur to me because like it was a weird anomaly, and that does
Yes.
explain it. I just ran
If
it
you,
again,
if you just
and it
have
worked.
maybe
Yeah,
another page when you have your profile, we can try on this one.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Perfect, man. Then thank you so much for coming on, and I'll proceed here with the rest of the stream. All right, man. See you around.
thank you so much.
So, everybody, thank you so much for Michal for coming on and talking about some of these things. Yeah, building some of this stuff has been really fun because you could just make things happen, right? Like it's pretty awesome. You're like, hey, I want meeting summaries in my voice and my style, and then you can figure it out. It's incredible. So, and we'll probably teach that on the channel. I think that's a pretty cool one to communicate. All right. So, what do we have next up? I have. Okay. I really want to do two things, and other than that, we'll freestyle this and we'll do whatever chat suggests. But one of the things I wanted to do is show you how to customize the prompt in this automation with the CIA style report. Okay, so I think this is quite powerful actually, and we'll do it also live. So let me just switch on over here and show you what I mean here step by step. I think this is gonna be quite fun. Okay, so here we have the automation flow, right? And the entire prompt is housed within this node, the entire ChatGPT summary prompt, okay? So whatever changes you make in here, these are changes that are going to directly affect the output inside of your database. So we just have to be careful not to run too many summaries here because I think the LinkedIn just restricts it. So if I change this up, I can change out the entire output. So what do I mean? What do I mean by CIA style report? If you haven't seen this, if you haven't followed the news show here on the channel, then this went pretty viral a few weeks ago. And this is the prompt that sort of got popularized. basically, if you run this prompt and you have memories enabled with your own, you know, like with some personal info on you, then you can basically, it will create a, well, what does it say? CIA style assessment, looking at your traits, motivations, behaviors, potential risks, threats, disruptive tendencies, all this. It will analyze all of this out of the context you give it. Okay. Now I could just run this, or we could just, or I could put this into the automation. And that's my point. And that's what we're going to do here. Okay. So we can further customize the prompt in there, but this is one of the basic things you can do. You can just copy paste this. By the way, let me share this in chat. Can I just share this as a message? It's too long. I will put it into the description of the stream. How about that? Yeah, I just want you guys to have access to everything we kind of like work on here. So you have all the blueprints, and now you have also the prompt. I updated the description. If you refresh the stream, it's going to be in the description. Excellent. Okay. Now we have chat back. Perfect. So how do we integrate this into how do you customize the prompt in here? Well, you could basically we're just going to delete the bottom part here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to kind of store this over here so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to take this prompt. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in here. I'll delete the bottom part, and let's kind of combine this. So let's see. Let's engage in a serious role play. We can put this at the beginning of the prompt. Using the information provided about the individual, we'll take this part. Interactions. Using the information provided about the individual, compile an in-depth intelligence report, and we can leave out the markdown format. So yeah, it's a very basic change, but this should basically do it. Now let's see if there's anything about this prompt that we want to customize. Let's see. So what does it look for? All behavior should be treated as potential vulnerabilities, leveraging points or risks to myself, others, or society, as per CIA standard protocol. Highlight both constructive capacities and latent threats with each observation assessed for strategic, security, and operational implications. I think for our context, we can skip this last part. I think this part we can take out. And therefore, highlight potential threats to the culture within an organization that has a very open-minded and self-managing structure where performance is measured on an individual's output rather than their time spent at work. Okay, so, you know, a little customization here that will go a long way in making this useful to, I don't know, for example, the way I run the AI Advantage here. Yeah, so we make that edit, we say okay down here, and now let's have a look. Let's make sure this is the correct version. Tools 56 being pulled in here. Yeah, male equivalent of a cat lady. Perfect. Good. Then it takes all of that data into here. Here's the correct prompt. I'm just double checking. It takes the content from all info. Okay. And then it saves that inside of the Notion. Good. So now we should be able to, share the URL to my LinkedIn profile, but now the report will look completely differently because we prompted it to do something completely different. So based on suggestions from chat, we can alter this prompt to do various things. I could maybe show you how to use multi-shot prompting to enforce a specific format. Maybe you have a specific form that you need to fill out, and this workflow can be used as a part of that. You can enforce a format inside of it. We can maybe look at that next, but right now, let's just make this work here. Let me pull up the Notion right here. Beautiful. Create a new page. Share the LinkedIn URL here. As extra information, do I want something in here? I guess we could try this cat lady BS right here again. Paste. He also likes to put hats on the cats. Okay. I mean, I don't know how this is going to influence the CIA style report evaluating if I fit into the company's culture, but, let's just add the extra info in here. Let's set this to initialized. And yeah, and now we can, we make sure to save this and we can run this once. And let's see if LinkedIn gives us access. Yeah, looking good. It got past the entire loop here. Yeah, so basically the edit we made here is we made it ask LinkedIn multiple times, which in the case of LinkedIn might not be the best idea if it's restricted how often you can access it. But this makes it more reliable if you don't run it 100 times a day. If you run it a few times a day, which is, I think, if you're not working in sales in any other scenario, or maybe HR and hiring a new person and running this on hundreds of people, in every other everyday person's scenario, you will want to run a loop because sometimes it doesn't give you access once, but on the second try it gives you access and boom, and the thing just works. As I said, it works pretty much all the time, but now that we practiced a bunch of times, it gave us no access a few times. But there you go. The whole thing is done. It's feeding it into Notion right now. It should be almost complete. We should see it streaming in right here. There you go. Motivational drivers. And now we can have a look at the analysis of me. The cat with hat enthusiast. Yeah, done. Okay. So it worked like a charm here. So let's see. I'm going to do this little trick where I just cut all of it, and then with Command-Shift-V, I paste it back in. Just a Notion thing where it preserves the formatting now. So let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look. Kevin asking, the question is already answered, but yeah. Is the new DB research template just one additional field? Can I just add that field to the old one? Yes, Kevin, just make sure that the name is the same, okay? So that it's extra information. Just in case you wanna relink it and you wanna make sure, or somebody's doing it from scratch, we shared also a link to a brand new template with the new field in here, okay? So if somebody's doing this from scratch, just use all the links in the description below and go from there. All the templates, the Notion template is there, all the blueprints, the complete blueprint template is there. You don't have to do anything yourself. It's all set up. All you need to do is set up the connections inside of Make with Notion, Perplexity, and ChatGPT, and the thing works, okay? There you go. And in case you have questions, you can ask me here or in the next streams. Cool. Okay, so now let's have a look at the result, shall we? So what did this make? The CIA-style report about everything it knows from LinkedIn, Perplexity search, and this extra field here. That's ridiculous. So let's have a look. Wait, what? Okay, fair enough. Hey, I gave it the info. This is my bad. Okay, so apparently my nickname is the male equivalent of a cat lady. Okay. What was I thinking? Why did I put this in here? Okay, with primary interests, AI education, content creation, and community building. Hey, there you go. Notable activities, placing hats on cats. Okay, this is actually quite. Hey. I just figured this would. I don't know. Something inside of me felt like this would add to the stream, and I don't know. You be the judge. Profile summary. The subject, henceforth referred to as subject, demonstrates a strong inclination towards AI education, community-driven initiatives. His activities and pursuits suggest a blend of technological enthusiasm with a whimsical personal affinity for cats. Okay, fair enough. Potentially indicative of a nurturing demeanor that translates into his professional engagement. See, it really analyzes it. Okay, so I'm going to scroll for this. You can have a look at this. I'm not going to read every single line, but let's find some interesting parts here. Community influence and leverage. Open-minded organizational fit. So this is the part we customized in the prompt, right? Like, would he fit into our company's culture? Given the subject's propensity for creativity, placing hats on cats, okay, and self-driven content creation, he aligns well with organizations that value output over time. There you go, I would agree. Nevertheless, in self-managed structures, his free-spirited nature could challenge conventional operational boundaries, potentially leading to disruption in team dynamics or conflicts with more structured colleagues. I think this is a fantastic analysis, actually. So this is something I've become very aware of over the years, but I think this is rather true. As opposed to being in my early 20s, I know how to like control this part of me. But yeah, I think this is true. I like to think from first principles rather than following established structures. So yeah. Cultural threats. While the subject's creativity fosters innovation, it could also manifest as a threat in a culture sensitive to drastic deviations from established norms or those resistant to unorthodox methodologies. This is such an interesting point. Well, I mean, I could debate this forever and like we could talk about my personality, whatever, which this is not about. But I think this is actually extremely accurate. Like I lived in Austria for a big part of my life, and I love Austria and German culture in so many ways. Literally, it's maybe speaking German is one of my favorite things. I think. Anyway, let's not get into all that, but like there's so many amazing parts about the culture, but the fact that it's so rule driven and there's so many established norms on everything, I've always found that challenging. I've always been an outside of the box thinker, and for example, like German speaking countries usually have a very, very established, like all norms are established, all rules are established, and those rules are not to be deviated from. And I always found that challenging myself. So this is actually, I'm surprised that it actually analyzed it in that way. So I think that's very, very true. Yeah, so there you go. Just personally giving my opinion on if this is any good, but yeah, I think this is actually excellent. The reliance on content consistency across platform indicates a drive for accountability and public engagement. 100%. The subject could exert considerable influence, both positive and negative, depending on the thematic leaning of his content. Controlling or guiding the Okay, we have motivational drivers. Yeah, as you can see, I don't know. I'm just trying to like subjectively evaluate if this is any good. And I would say this is surprisingly good. And I've found this to be consistently true. Actually, the version of this that I run myself is a version of this prompt focusing on a few things like this. I just pulled this from like the way I customize this for myself. But yeah, I want to say if this would be a person that would either fit in within our organization or I'm interested in also if I would like personally, like what topics I would personally vibe with. So what I did in practice is I ran this analysis on myself. And then I kind of have like a really extensive set of custom instructions on myself, my personal context. And then I use that to compare it to other people's profiles based on their online presence. And then that gives me a better idea of how to approach the conversation and what would work. So maybe we can look at that prompting if you're interested in that. But these are all the variations you could make happen here, right? If you work in sales, hey, take some of the take some of the things that you're most interested in. Maybe some of the traits, maybe some of their motivational drivers. Like this could be very valuable to read before you go into a sales call with somebody, for example, right? So you could customize it, or you could customize this further to specific points. Like what are some of the things that might convince this person? What are some of their core values that I could speak towards? What are some of their potential, what is it in sales? What is it called? Like resistances or like sticking points or something like that? What are the potential sticking points when it comes to buying air fryer or whatever the heck you might be selling, You could infinitely customize this. That's my point. Okay, let's see. Let's look at the conclusions and recommendations. Effectively channeling the subject's innovative talents within clearly defined boundaries will maximize outputs while mitigating potential disruption risk. Encouraging structured creativity could harness his strength without compromising organizational goals. Okay. Digital influence for brand or knowledge elevation can serve as both a development. Okay, actually, I found the most valuable stuff to be in here. Maybe let's look at one more potential threat. Given the subject's expansive engagement in AI, any exaggeration or overestimation of capabilities, his own or AI's, could lead to misrepresentation of AI potential to non-expert audiences, also posing a reputational risk to affiliated organizations. Fair enough. I agree. I think this is like one thing that we try to be very cognizant of. I always speak very clearly. And I think this what might be an amazing thing inside of this live format, right? Because if things go wrong, hey, we deal with it, we talk about it. We have an open format, you can ask questions, we answer them. I think this is one of the best ways to realistically represent what this tech can do today for you. If, you know, including all the errors, including all the bugs. But nevertheless, I think this is pretty amazing. So I would give this like a, maybe a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, this report. Like, I think there's some valuable insights that I wouldn't be able to just gather by looking at somebody LinkedIn's profile. Yeah, I think particularly in here, there's some real insights about like my personality just based on what I gave it here and what I gave it off the LinkedIn. Pretty cool, no? Like, pretty amazing. Welcome, Niklas. I see some German people. Hey. Servus. Grüße gehen raus nach Frankfurt. Toyo saying, yeah, this is good. I don't think Toyo speaks German. I think, yeah, this is good is the classic thing you know if you don't speak German. But yeah. There you go. Yeah, so I think this is a fantastic use case. So there you go. So sales prospecting or HR work, or even for somebody like me that meets with a lot of people and meets a lot of new people, this is a great way to kind of customize it. So you can customize the prompt in here just like I showed you. If you want to give it a specific structure, we could do that too. So how about this? We're going to do a little, this is one last customization, and then I'm going to show you the special treat that I prepared for today. Okay, the little... You're going to hear a lot about it on the channel moving forward, but this is the first time I kind of like want to reveal this to you. It's a really cool way to use a combination of AI and forms to deliver custom value to your audience, whether it's for content creation, public speaking. This is a good one, trust me. But basically, before we do that, before we dive into that and I show you, we can do a little bit of customization here. And what I would do here in practice is we could just do this, and you know, I think 5 is optimal, but I think for this demo 3 will be good enough. I can basically take this, I will take all of it, I will share it in here, and now, you know what, it would be really nice to edit this in Canvas. Can we just go move over to Canvas? I need to. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do this inside of Word. Canvas is only effective if you've generated already, right? So we're gonna do the prompt engineering in Word. We could also do it in Notion, doesn't matter. There you go. So this is the report, and let's say let's implement everything we've just found. Okay. So one thing we found is that we didn't really like this conclusion part. Maybe we don't need a conclusion. How about that? Also, potential threats and vulnerabilities. Cool. Let's keep that. And also maybe let's make the... Maybe we don't need the alias. It seems a bit useless. Profile summary. How about, what else could we customize here? What if we also don't want these potential threats and vulnerabilities? Let's just take these out. So all we're gonna keep in here is the summary, the notable activities, the primary interests, and also the behavioral and motivational analysis right here, okay? I hope you can see this. This might be a little small, I'm sorry about that. There you go. So now I have a report, and I can basically take this and put this in here, and we can create synthetic data, right? So we could do something like modify the information in this report for 2 other subjects. One, I don't know, for this demo, I'll just say random subject. Important thing, the exact structure of the provided example. Keep every heading and subheading in the exact format that I will share with you. Okay, so report. Let's see, very simple, but if I share this in here, it should be able to generate 2 more reports just like this with the same structure and the same headings. Let's see if it works. And then we can take those and we can feed it back. In practice, you know, I wouldn't be generating synthetic data like this, but I would be creating reports on multiple people, editing those to my liking, and then sharing them in there. But there you go. Same categories, everything the same. Nice, we get it inside of Canvas. Good, why not? Good, so we have two more pieces, 2 more examples, right? So I'm gonna take one example and another example. And this is exactly what I wanted. So the details here don't really matter, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my make automation. Or one sec, we were inside of the Word document. Yep. I'm gonna go inside the Word document and I'm gonna paste them under here. So example report 1 was already present. So I guess the markdown formatting is inconsistent here. So here I'll use the little trick I shared with you before. Inside of any Notion page, if you just if you have something with the asterisks and stuff, if you just Command Shift V paste, this is a really quick way to change the formatting of this to be markdown. Voila, there you go. So this is example report 1. One thing that is always helpful is doing this. And then this is not a must, but it is best practice. So, you know, we'll do this. And then we'll do this. So as you can see, I'm establishing the 3 examples with very clear, unambiguous formatting. Just, you know, prompt engineering best practices, but example report 2, and then I'm going to do the same. And then you don't need the lines like this, right? Because the lines can mean various things. And this is just the way you get most consistent outputs. So example report 3. And then what we should get here, once we're done with re-engineering this prompt with 3 examples in the end. So let's just double check, because, you know, talking and doing this at the same time is not as easy as just doing it. So we have example report 3. We have example report 2. Yep. We have example report 1. Yep. And then we say this. Report there you go. And now I can copy all of this, okay? So one line just referencing the 3 example reports, that always helps with consistency. And now if I say Command A and Command C, well, I can just copy it like so. If I put this inside of my automation, so I delete everything inside of this field, and I paste it in here, again, for anybody just tuning in, we're customizing automation that I showed you how to build in a YouTube video. And in this video, I showed you how to extend it with custom data and how to customize it to your liking by editing the prompt, which happens in here, the editing of the prompt. So now I customize this with my new custom prompt with 3 specific examples. And if I save over this and I give this a brand new line to work with, copy to clipboard, you know, just do a new line in here. Like so, paste. And then we can do some extra info if we want. But maybe in this case, we're going to say big, I don't know, kite surfing enthusiast with a passion for all kinds of board sports. Just to switch it up a little bit, huh? We say initialized, and now that's it, right? We just did this. Like, how long did this take putting in the link and this? It takes seconds. That's the answer. Then this would run in the background every 15 minutes. I'm just going to run it manually now. And actually right now I'm pretty confident in it working, as we haven't, you know, scraped LinkedIn in a while. And then as Mikhail explained, that's where the no access error comes from. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So I think it got past the LinkedIn part. It's already working with the perplexity step here. Let's have a look. No access. My bad. See, I jinxed it there. Never mind. Initialized. Give it one more shot. Shall we? Save this. I'll just refresh the page. That doesn't make any difference, but just run it. All right. Did we exceed our amount of LinkedIn? Yeah, we seem to have exceeded the amount of times we can access LinkedIn. Yeah, that's because like most of the day here I spent, you know, tinkering with this and preparing the stream, and so there's only so many times LinkedIn will let you do this. So, it's not no access initialized. Let's see if we can make it happen for the sake of rounding out this segment. If not, we can move on to the next point and we can make this happen in a second here. But I think LinkedIn is locking us out. No, we got lucky. Good. Okay, so we got through to LinkedIn and it's basically already in progress. It ran the first perplexity search, pre-processed with ChatGPT. Yeah, it's already working. So now this took a while, but won't you look at that? Can answer some chat questions meanwhile as this streams in, because this will magically appear here in a second. Let me see what's going on in chat. Oh, Toyo kann schon Deutsch. Okay. Yeah, I was just saying, you know, that's a typical phrase that people throw at you if they don't speak German. They're like, ja, das ist gut. Guten Tag is another one. But you know, it seems like you actually legit. Where are you from, Toyo? Which country? Germany? Okay. Amina saying, hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream, Amina. Wonderful to have you here. You're coming in towards the latter half of the segment where we showed you how to set up an automation that researches anybody on LinkedIn. And then we showed you how to plug in custom data into that and how to change the prompt to give you custom results. So all about customization. True Germany. Yeah, that was a good bet, right? Versus easy bet versus if you take the population of Austria and Germany. Yeah, that's an easy bet to make. But yeah, good to have you here, man. Kevin Rank, tell me, it would be really cool too. I'm curious what you're going to say here. Let's see. So there you go. This is the custom report. I'll do this little, you know, the little trick for the reformatting. Boom, boom. Markdown. So we can have a look at the new result. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but basically you can see it successfully took in the extra information here. And also one thing is, as this extra info is presented at the top, it's highest priority inside of the LLM, you know, as you might know from, you know, using ChatGPT or any prompt engineering experience. If you put something towards the beginning of a message, it is considered most important. And that's why, you know, this extra info is also considered most important. That's why you will find it as, you know, primary interests. It just weighs it higher if you put it towards the beginning or the ending of a prompt versus the middle. It's just how it works. Okay, we have all this. We have the motivations, and that's it. It did add a short summary, so I believe we could get rid of this if we gave it 2 more examples. If you give 5 examples, it really locks it in. But there you go. There's no super long summary. There's no threats or vulnerabilities. It just gives us pretty much exactly what we asked for. It added a little summary in the end. Fair enough. But there you go. So this is how you would force it into a specific... sorry, I had a cold 2 weeks ago. Fully recovered, but you know, still feel it. Body still remembers. Anyway, the point is this is how you could force it into a specific form. So if you have a specific process and you really needed to come out in a certain way and you wanted to like just respect the template every single time, this is how you do it. You would craft multiple examples. You could use a simple prompt like this, like we did over here. Where is it? Yeah. You could generate synthetic data like this. You could give it 3 examples inside of the automation, and then every single time you decide to take the 15 seconds out of your day to add a new LinkedIn URL into here, this will just automatically run. And also, just to be clear, when I began this stream, I believe this account, which I have set up for this right here, was at around, I think I used 600. Let's see, how many operations did we use today? We used 1,000 operations today, okay? I believe I used around 600 or 700 of these in preparation for the stream. So everything I showed you right here, researching all these different runs on here, all the variations we made, basically cost us, let's call it 500 operations to be generous, which is 50 cents, okay? So how many did successfully run? I deleted a few in the process, but at least 4, 5, 6, 7. I deleted a few, 7, 8. The no access also eats up a few tokens, not that many, but maybe we can call it 8, maybe 10, so it's easily calculatable. So you're essentially paying 5, maybe you're paying 6 cents per research tasks. I think realistically, this saves you probably 10 minutes per run, I would say. Because like, you know, opening somebody's LinkedIn and reading through all that, running a perplexity search on them, putting all that together, and then running it for ChatGPT and then reading that. I mean, I guess you still have to read it, right? But like pulling all of that together, that to me sounds like 10 minutes of my day. So essentially, you're saving 10 minutes for 6 cents. That's how I would calculate this. So if you do times 6, that's 36 cents. So basically, if you make more than 36 cents per hour, this is worth your time. If this is something you consider worth doing, then, you know, I don't know, if your hourly wage is $15 per hour, well, this is an arbitrage of $14.64 per hour on your time. And you set it up once and you can forget it. It works, you know. Sure, sometimes you might get no access because LinkedIn prohibits the scraping, as we figured out during the stream, but I think that's totally fine, you know. This is probably going to cost you 1 cent and not 6 cents if it runs like this, and then you have to run it again. So there you go. That's it. That's the automation. That's how you customize it with custom data. That's how you alter the prompt to something custom and maybe even more useful to you, like the CIA prompt. And that's how you customize any prompt you might have to follow a template that you wanted to follow. Nice. So good. So this is really what I wanted to show you today. And now we can we're gonna do 2 things, okay? One is we're gonna hang out a little and I'm gonna answer some questions from chat. But 2, I'm gonna get to show you something that I've been waiting to show you ever since September 10th, I think we started work on this. Yeah, I just really wanted to reveal this live. It also relates to automation in the background, but it's just something really cool that I kind of pretty much like fully original fully original idea. I don't know. I'm gonna stop blabbering here. I'm just gonna show you, okay? So quick look into chat, and I'm gonna show you what we worked on here with the team over the past months. Willie, that's a very fun comment. I'm not gonna read that out loud though. That's pretty mean from whoever taught you. Woo. Some great comments here. So Gina, I'm gonna address that right after this, but I think it's time to show the wonderful people that hung out for almost a full 2 hours here with me. That to show them something unique that we built with AI. Am I understanding this correctly? I can see someone being able to offer insights and creative research services to a university career counselor. Yeah, 100%. Anything. And the coolest thing is, like, imagine, like, maybe you're talking to somebody and they bring up a name in a conversation. Now, this is not even arbitrage on your time. Usually, like, if you wanted to research that person, hey, you got to go out there, you got to Google them, you got to look at LinkedIn. Maybe you're not going to do all that, copy paste all that into ChatGPT, summarize it and read it while you're talking to somebody. With this automation at your disposal, you can just put their LinkedIn URL in there, and then on a call, you can present some of the information back as if you did the preparation in advance. Pretty good, huh? So yeah, you can absolutely use that to offer insights. Okay, so let me show you what I have here, okay? Wait, I need some sort of sound effect here.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so let me pull up what I prepared here. And not to hype this up too much, okay? So like it's just a cool little thing that I think will add a lot of value to this YouTube community. But I want to show you. So here's my screen. Yeah, fantastic use case, right? So yeah, I'm glad to hear that. All right. So what is this? This is a custom, okay, what did I name this? I kind of forgot. This is the AI Resource Advantage quiz. That's what I named it. So this is a little quiz that takes you less than 1 minute to fill out, and it will make custom recommendations based on your experience level and interest. And it will point you towards various AI resources that we have freely available that will help you in your learning journey. So, for example, if you have a particular interest in using AI to improve business performance, and you're just getting started and you're a beginner, you will get pointed to, well, let's have a look. Let's give this a shot, shall we? So you just go in here. By the way, link is in chat right now. Everybody can open this. This is completely free. And there's a... Cosmo Miller, stop babbling. Get on with it. You're right, man. You're right, man. So this is what happens, okay? You pick your interest in here. So let's say I want to improve business performance with AI. How much time are you willing to invest into learning how to use AI per week? I'm a busy man, less than 1 hour. What is your experience with AI tools? You know what? I'm just getting started. Maybe I have 5 to 50 hours. Okay. Maybe I just started, playing around a little bit, but haven't put in too much time. What's your name? My name is Igor. What's your email? I'll email you the results. Okay. My email is igor@myaiadvantage.com. Submit. Boom. And you get this, okay? You get free resources. So you get free prompts right here. You get a free guide right here. And then you have a recommendation for a course that would make sense that we offer, okay? So I guess 2 of these are free. One of them is a preview for something premium we do. And you have this. Hey there, I'm glad you landed here. I'm AI Igor, and based on what you've told us about yourself, we recommend you check out the following resources to learn about AI. First up is this custom prompt page with multiple prompts we think you'll find useful. Pick one that resonates with you and send it to ChatGPT to test it out. I also included a step-by-step video explainer in the page if you'd like some more direction. Next up is a workflow guide we hope you'll find useful. This one shows you how to use AI to create presentations for all kinds of scenarios. It's one of the community favorites. Lastly, I've linked a preview of the Prompt Engineering Foundations course for you, which is perhaps the best way to familiarize yourself with LLMs and prompting. Once you look through all of these and want even more free resources, make sure to sign up for the AI Advantage newsletter. You'll receive a special Notion template along with an ebook filled with premium prompts and guides that you would get by filling out the other options on the quiz you just took. And that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you around. Man, this guy looks like me, doesn't he? Oh, okay, I have to fix this ending screen. But yo, okay, so this is AI Igor talking to you. Basically, AI avatar with yeah, this is everything together. So this is a fine-tuned version of GPT 4.0, writing the script for custom voice trained on my voice, presented with an AI avatar that basically speaks like me, looks like me, sounds like me, all of that. So I think this is state of the art when it comes to what you can do with AI tools that are publicly available right now. There's a lot of learnings that we had along the way of creating this. And the coolest part about this is the team can alter these without my like knowledge or without my input, right? So if we come out with a new guide that on something that is the latest and greatest, for example, maybe we find some new prompts, or maybe we find a new guide, or we release a new course or something, we can alter this video without me having to re-record a dozen videos every single time we make a change to this process. So essentially, it makes it super sustainable to do this, right? Whereas if I were to record these, we would have to, yeah, every time we bring out a new free resource or something and we alter this quiz, which we plan on updating this, you know, like AI changes quickly. I've set up the entire AI Advantage so that it's agile and that it like rejuvenates automatically, right? The whole community is like 20 events a month and approximately 10 guides and resources a month. So every month we're on top of the latest and greatest things. And this is one of them. The YouTube channel is another one of them. The newsletter is another one of them, right? All of these free sources of value. The best tools that we publish inside of the public area of the community is another one of them. These are all mechanisms that like auto-rejuvenate, and all the wonderful people on the AI Advantage team, like Mikal and 12 others, that you will get to. Ooh, I can show you our new team introduction video here afterwards. I also have that ready to go. But basically, everybody works on keeping this as fresh as possible on a monthly basis, basically, at the minimum. And then, so yeah, because this space moves so quickly, right? So what's the point of doing an AI channel and newsletter and learning community if we're not going to keep it fresh? And keeping this fresh would be an absolute nightmare. Imagine, like, we publish a new free guide, we want to link it up here. Well, now somebody on the team can go in and change the link in here. And by the way, you also receive an email. By the way, you also receive an email. Let's see, maybe I can pull it up here. Yeah, but basically, no, actually, I sent it to myself, didn't I? But I can show you an example from earlier when I was testing this. So this is what the email looks like if I show you my screen. So also and then there's a few things that happen with AI here automatically. So there's more to this than meets the eye. Okay, so let me guide you through this. But I think this is pretty cool. Yeah, it's Hagen based, yeah. But there's a few nuances here. So like the Hagen thing is generated in multiple, you need to do multiple exports and then edit it together. Yeah, Gina Lee, a sustainable practice for content creation. Yeah, totally. So like, I don't know if I would, you know, I don't think I could get away with this on YouTube. But yeah, it is sustainable and scalable, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so a few things happen in the back end of this, okay? We're not gonna go through all of the automations here today. We can maybe do that on Friday when we have more time. We're approaching 2 hours here. That would be a bit too long. But a few things happen here in the background, and I want to talk you through it. One of them is, as soon as you fill this out, it takes all of the data and it sends you a custom email with, well, it's not very custom. It's your name is in here and in here that you share in the quiz. And also your links get reflected in here based on your results. And then it forwards you to subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't done so yet. That's one thing that happens. Another thing that happens, it saves all of these responses, not all of them, but it saves 2 of these responses in our backend. in our email management software. So basically, if you fill this out and you're already subscribed to our newsletter, or maybe you don't subscribe to our newsletter, but in like 2 months you decide to join the community, then we're already gonna have you in the CRM that's linked to my email management software. And I'm gonna know that, hey, back in November, you had the intention of investing less than 1 hour per week and you were a beginner. And then I can send you communications that are customized based on that. And whenever our team members run events, they also have access to a database that includes all of this info. So if you show up to some of our beginner events, so we run these foundations events where we go over basic automations once a month with Philip. Then Philip can open this up and see, I don't know, Igor Pogani joined the event, and then he can look into our database and see that, okay, Igor seems to be a complete beginner and he's interested in the business use cases of AI. And just this allows him to customize the events to your needs or to address you in a more custom manner, you know? There's a in real life, you get so much more info. You get to talk to the person, you get to see the body language, you get to get more of a feeling for the person. Over the internet, this is quite limited. I mean, look, we're communicating right here, but there's limitations to this, right? I'm a little square up here. This guy sitting there in a t-shirt. You can't see my surroundings properly. You can't smell what I smell. You can't hear what I hear, right? This mic is very directional. Like maybe if I do this, yeah, I hear cars outside of the window, but you can't hear those, right? It's just a limited way of communicating. And I think with tools like this and AI in the background and some automations in the background, we can bring some of that back. So yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. So this uses it to customize. This is used to send you the email. And yeah, there you go. So it's really a type form linked to an automation with, it has around 50 nodes in total. So the email tagging is the bulk of it, but also the sending the emails and routing based on the results that you routed to is the second part of it. One note that I will add is that as of right now, this is kind of a preview, and we hope that by end of the week, we hope to have the updated lead magnet with all of the prompts in there. So if you sub to the newsletter, you're going to have another maybe 48 hours of patience until to everyone who subbed, we'll send out the updated version with all the prompts. Right now, you'll have the one from beginning of 2024, which is still great, but all of these new prompts in here, all of this stuff, all of these custom prompts that we handpicked to be super useful are, yeah, only accessible through the quiz and not for our newsletter. Okay, that was a lot to share. Does that make sense? Any questions? The links are manually assigned based on your answer. Only the video is AI. Yes, exactly. So only the video is AI generated. These links are routed based on your answer. Yeah, exactly. And there's actually, I'll share one more thing. I already had it set up, but there's no point. Okay, so what you can do really easily is include an extra step of running an LLM based on all of this data. And then custom writing the email or custom writing a part of the email, right? So I was experimenting with things like including a question in here, which is like, what's your favorite movie? And then basically it would greet you in the tone of your favorite movie. Just like, I don't know, if you say Harry Potter, then, you know, it would be like, oh, good day, fellow wizard, or whatever the heck, you know? And then it continues to just give you the info anyway. I don't know, it's sort of, there's no real, I mean, it's cool, right? But there's no real point. I don't know. I decided against it for now. But like, just know, this is really easily extendable with another LLM step where every email is actually custom written by an LLM. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Any ideas? Any ideas on what? Yeah. GDPR checkbox. I believe we have GDPR checkboxes based on your geolocation if you use the form. So I think the form has a cookie consent pop-up if you're in Europe. Yeah, only the video is AI. Best free prompt database. I think ours is pretty awesome. And now, so like we updated it for 2025 based on everything we've learned from the community and what people actually use and love to use with some of the prompts in here. So if you go through this, you will receive free prompts based on your interest. So for education, for people who are getting started with educational use cases, we have this. And if you say you're advanced or an expert, aka you have more than 50 hours of experience with these tools, we will hit you over the head with some really juicy, very long prompts, very detailed prompts. But these are the simple ones to get started. So yeah, this is a great solution to a big dilemma I had for a long time, which is like, okay, so we have, first of all, we have so many different resources, and I'm not sure how to distribute them because our audience is so widely spread. And if we have some custom routing in place, then like, how do we maintain it? Because like this part is a nightmare. Like if you have to redo this once a month and re-edit, you know, a dozen videos, like I think it's 8 videos right now. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. So yeah, I think this solves it pretty well. So Willie Peyote, I hope that is pronounced correctly. If you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll get the free prompt database, and then by the end of the week, we'll have the full update, including all of these new prompts that we'll just send out as an extra email into your inbox, also free. So there you go. All right. Okay, let me tackle a few more questions here. These are the main things I wanted to share with you today. So we went through the automation, we customized it. I showed you the quiz that uses, yeah, this is basically all about AI. The AI resource quiz with AI Igor presenting with, yeah, I suppose the automations don't really include AI. They integrate all of the different tools and everything we have. So that's pretty cool. There you go. And all of that in 2 hours and 10 minutes. How about that? So questions, hit me. Let's do it. Let's put on some music in the background and can ask some questions. Ooh, easy. Nice. Wiley. Okay, man. Thanks for that. Yeah, so if you subscribe to the newsletter, we have a fantastic free prompt database, as pointed out. I wonder if I can prompt an AI Igor to control another AI Igor. I mean, you can. I think they offer API endpoints now where you can run the AI avatar. Yeah, you could, of course, you could make them talk to each other. I could also just take the fine tunes and just write a simple script that makes the two fine tunes chat. Makes the same fine tune chat to itself, right? Oh, this is interesting. Michal pointing out that you could reverse the automation. And instead of searching for information about the people, you can gather info about companies you want to work with or collaborate with. Also, now I can do a thing where I can highlight comments. Let me do that now that I have a bit more bandwidth. Toyo asking about the Sora leak. What do you think about the Sora leak? Well, I mean, I think it's pretty wild. What do I think of it? I mean, well, how to put it? I think it's a pretty wild move from the guys who published it. And I see the point they're making. I think this is the wrong way to make that point, though. I would say. Like, this is... Because it's only going to restrict the access to things like this. Like, what's the result gonna be? Like, you're not gonna... I feel like it's similar... I don't know. It's a bit of a... I'm not sure how much I want to talk about this because it's a bit of a polarizing topic, I think. But I think what they did is similar to a move that the climate activists do when they like when they just like block normal citizens from crossing the highways, right? They just sit on the street, put up their posters, and they try to make their point. But it's like the only person you're really hurting is like yourself. That's what I think of it. Like, what did you achieve with that? You know, like, cool, now people can like, it's only gonna restrict companies like that from releasing stuff in the future, or from even involving testers and creatives in being a part of the conversation. Like, you think about the long-term second order effects of it. Like, now every single time there's gonna be a corporate meeting on, hey, should we bring this to the people? Should we open source this? Should we bring in some testers? This example is going to come up. And they're going to be like, yeah, we would love to, but look, for this and this reason, we can't do it. And then it's going to be, and then that's going to be a really strong argument, because their motivations are aligned with gatekeeping it anyway. So anything they can hold on to argue that, they're going to hold on to. And now they just gave them gunpowder, essentially, you know. So I you know, while I enjoyed seeing the results of it and stuff, like the outputs of the model, I don't think it's good for the open source movement, which I'm a big fan of. That's what I think. Copy and paste your text messages with your spouse and ask the AI odds of cheating percentages. Oh boy, Puppy's coming in with the oh my god, with the spicy use cases here. Interesting, man. Yeah, but you know, just don't put too much weight on it. It's just regurgitating from what it has seen, and every human relationship is unique, right? Like, if every human is unique, and if you pair two humans, then that relationship is like extremely unique, super unique, giga unique. So no LLM will ever know better than you do. But yeah, that's kind of a fun one. Okay, a few more questions up here. AI community member, is the business blueprint offer completely separate to community content? Miles, yes, it is. Yes. So right now we only have 3 paid offerings. I think we cut it down to 3. We have the community, which is all about building the skills and personalized support as you do it, and joining a community of like-minded individuals. All of these things are independent or also wonderfully work together. That's a subscription. And then we have 2 standalone products in the shop. One is the business blueprint. It's work-focused prompts, prompt generators, and GPT presets, aka assistants. And the other one is prompt presets for the advanced voice feature. So these are standalone things. Yeah, standalone products. What other questions do we have here? I like this one. Could an AI avatar interview a new subscriber to assign them to district rather than filling out a form? I think the answer is yes, but HeyGen hasn't fully opened up its API access already. Otherwise, I would be showing you our own version of Hogwarts sorting hats right now instead of a quiz. So yeah, I think that's possible. They have these AI interviewers already, right, that pre-screen applicants in HR departments. But I mean, that'd be really cool if you join the community and like right away you click a button and like AI Igor shows up and conducts a 5-minute interview and like onboards you. I would love that. And you bet as soon as that, like, we're keeping an eye on this stuff. And as you can see, we're trying our best to use all of these tools in our own processes and then like reflecting it back to all of you guys to show you what's possible. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see. Professor using Gemini extensions in Gmail to get questions for FAQ from students. Man, FAQ creation is one of the best use cases of AI, I swear. It's so good. You can just feed it all sorts of data. Like it's just a different way to summarize, right? People overlook this a lot, but like FAQs are just a different form of summarizing something. Really powerful, Kevin. Yeah, I can see that. So you plugged it into your email account and now it gathers questions for a FAQ. Smart. Ooh, this is a good one. Gina asking, based on what you've seen in your community, what have members been able to do in their career, life, or fun user cases? Wow, so okay, so that question is packed. There's a lot there. But I think basically, I think the main outcome is people just becoming like AI native. It sort of becomes like a, you know, everybody knows how to Google things these days, right? And it's sort of a part of how they operate in the world, right? You talk, I don't know, you sit at a dinner table and then a question comes up, oh, I wonder how many inhabitants are in Malaysia. And then somebody like pulls up their phone and they're like, oh, let me Google that. Let me see how many people, actually like live in Malaysia. And then they present the fact. So I think the main outcome is really integrating like the LLMs at a level of your I don't want to say being, but it's just becoming a part of your like your tech stack and your tool belt that you don't even think about. I think that's the main change you see in people, because a lot of times we're in these conversations like office hours or in after lectures we do Q&As like this, and then a question comes up, and before you even know it, like multiple people just use LLMs in creative ways with some of the prompts that they pre-saved to tackle the problem and present a solution that you might not expect. So, it's not this agentic future yet where everybody just kind of like 50x's their productivity and then we get to, hang out in our floating chairs that like drive us to the supermarket, or like our AI companions get the groceries or whatever. Like all of that is like futuristic sci-fi stuff that we're not there yet, but we're at a point where it's not just availability of information, because that changed with the internet, but like through the people who really like devote time to this, like they do become cyborgs in a certain sense, because hey man, if you have this automation running that I showed you today and you automatically research people like this, then you can be in the middle of a conversation and a name comes up and you just find them on LinkedIn and throw that in there, and all of a sudden, boom, you have an entire report on them. That's as real as it gets. That's like a real advantage in certain situations, right? And that's not even automating something away. That's just improving your experience. So my answer would be this: people sort of becoming as native with LLMs and internalizing all of the best use cases that work for their personal context and their work in a way that you don't even think about using AI anymore. It's just what you do. And then like for anybody, for any knowledge worker especially, there are ways to improve your everyday life with it today. And that just becoming a native part of who you are and how you operate and how you solve problems is probably the biggest change. There's not a single example that like stands out, which is like boom, 20x improvement. But I could give a few specific examples. So for example, we had a doctor that had to process a lot of claims. And after going through some of the courses and, being engulfed in this space for a few months, essentially, this entire space across the internet, not just the community, right? Like he just realized, wow, a lot of the steps that we do internally and that I train my staff of 20 people to do, I can just build a GPT where they upload the doc and all of a sudden it saves them 20 minutes every single time they have to process the document. If you scale that up to 20 people, each of them process 5 to 10 claims every single day, that's a lot of freaking time that you just saved them. So it's things like this, like it scales up. It's this minor improvements around the edges, but then like it just stacks up and it becomes a part of who you are. And it just changes the way you work. First a little and then more. And then especially the more leverage you have, the more people capital or reach you might have, the more it helps, right? So the more valuable your time is, the bigger the lever. Anyway, bit ranty right there, but I think that's the correct answer. It's super individual, just like everybody is an individual. The ways you use AI are individual. It's about becoming native. It's about learning a new language rather than learning one specific trick that will be a game changer. Yeah, that's the main change that I see. If you're creative, it can enhance that. If you're business-oriented, it can certainly enhance that. Okay, more questions, more questions. Loving this. Let's put some more music on in the background. Oh, this is a nice track. Nice and chill. Yeah, Miles, wonderful to have you here. See you next time. I'm doing one on Friday again. This is running long, huh? I like it. This is one of the few areas I love using Gemini for, using extensions, Kevin. All right, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that really sets it apart. Also, thanks for sharing. We don't see a lot of Gemini love in the chat here usually, or also in the community. It's lovely to see it. I'm a big fan of Notebook LM. But it's not really Gemini. I mean, it is, but... this track right here? I only see the abbreviated version. Maybe I can pull it up for you. It's called Rubber Dove by Florian. Florian Rubber Dove. Licensed from the Music Bed library. I believe that's my personal favorite library. Okay, what else do we got here? Questions, bring it on, bring it on. And then we're gonna wrap this up in about 8 minutes, all right? So let's see. Which LLM would you recommend? Okay, for chatting, as in speaking to and it being most human-like. Haha, okay. So let me answer this in the best way I can, which is the ranking we put together every month. So this is the ranking we update every month. You guys probably know this at this point. I point it out all the time. There's going to be an update in a few days coming. We had a chat about it on Monday and re-ranked certain things. But as in chatting and sounding human, I think your best bet is with Character AI here. This is the best conversational one. They have a fantastic voice feature where it pretends to be a phone call and you could just talk to all the different characters. There's a reason this is the most popular chatbot platform online when it comes to just like speaking to chatbots. But when it comes to sounding human, I think at this point it's sort of a tie between ChatGPT and Claude. Like the new ChatGPT model is way improved. Claude was always a bit more human than ChatGPT. Pi sounds really human, but like everything else about the LLM is not that great. That's why it's down here. I think Character AI is your best bet. Biggest variety, super low latency. Yeah. Kevin sharing that he barely uses Gemini. He really does like AI Studio and access to the pre-release Gemini model. Not a huge fan of Gemini, but extensions are really nice. You really like Notebook LM too. Yeah, man. Notebook LM is amazing. Amazing. And yeah, Gemini Studio is up here in the ranking. You see my mouse? Is the mouse disabled? Mouse might be disabled. Anyway, it's in the 8th tier of ranking because you can upload video to it, right? And it's the biggest context window out of all models. So if you need a really, really big context window, which is rarely, but it happens, that's the way. Oh, we're getting some Notebook LM love in chat here. I 100% agree, man. Alan in Portland sharing his love for Notebook LM. I agree. It's amazing. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, you guys? Kim saying another great session. Thanks, Kim. It's always wonderful to have you around in the community and here. Glad you liked this. Yeah, I know you requested, you had a bunch of, wait, I have to check. I think you had one question about automation. Was it answered already? I think you asked something in the community. It came up in our team meeting. I would have to find it, Kim. But, oh yeah, here, you left a comment on the event. Can it be extended to make a meeting preparation? Besides research. Okay, I won't share this entire chat because like the community is private and I don't think everybody wants to publicly share everything, but I can share this. How about this? Here's my screen. Here's Kim's question. Can it be extended to make a meeting preparation besides research? A person also finds their interests and common friends and talking to create a better connection. Yeah, so this is where you would need to, as a part of the prompt, you would need to provide it your personal context. And then you could contrast it. You could prompt it to basically compare it with the intel it gathers. So you could just keep what it has right now, but also tell it, hey, here's some information on me, and tell me what would be some of our shared interests, or what kind of topics would make sense. One thing I like to do is ask it for conversation starters. So you could prompt that as a part of it. So one part, you just keep what you have right now with the meeting prep prompt. Two, you add your personal context, and then on top of that, you basically say, hey, I'm going to give you information on me and somebody I'm going to talk to, and then I want you to find common interests. Common friends is tricky because you would have to also pull in the information of your entire friend list and their entire friend list. So that's a whole different, I don't know, bag of chips, can of worms, whatever you want to say. But basically the interests matching and the conversation starters are pretty easy to do. You just need to customize the prompt, add your own context, and make sure it's aware that, hey, this is me, this is them. How can we connect better? All right. So as we round things out here, we'll take a few final questions. Ooh, any ideas for finding more structure in life? ADHD like chaos? Ooh, Vicky, let me tell you, as somebody who has been, I don't know, I'm not a firm believer in like all of these psychotherapeutic diagnosis. I really believe that like every psyche is unique, and while certain like buckets can be helpful, I'm saying this because I thought I had ADHD, and I've also gotten some evaluations and they were like yes and no and I don't know. But like over time, as I learned more about myself, I realized that a little bit of structure goes a long way, and all of a sudden your mind like calms down in many ways. And like I think, and also I was younger, so I don't know, I believe in neuroplasticity and that like people change and minds change. That being said, Bike Cloud, what's up, man? Good to have you here. Hey, you should come in on Saturday, man. Saturday, I want to see your beautiful little cloudy face. We're doing with a bunch of other people from our Discord community. We're gonna discuss what's next for ChatGPT next year, man. You should join us if you want to. Stream on Saturday. Anyway, to answer the question, I think any sorts of systems you can implement are amazing. I think my #1 recommendation would be start using a digital calendar. That's huge because then you can kind of outsource all of that. Digital, like just use something like Gcal and like schedule everything out. Even if it sounds ridiculous, like data, like dates or meetings with friends or coffees, whatever, put everything in your calendar, and then you can kind of like completely let go of that. That's one thing. Secondly, develop a task management system. Like, do you wanna, anybody interested in a 30-second Notion tutorial on how to do task management in Notion? Yes, no, maybe, cool, you'll get it anyway. So check this out. You create a new page. This is how you do task management in Notion, and this is how you get started with Notion. So Igor's to-do, okay? Literally, all I want you to do is say, you know, checkbox here, /checkbox or to-do list. You could also just click plus and find the to-do thing. Where is it? Here, right here. And all you're gonna do is, I don't know, bring out the trash. I don't know, clean the living room. Whatever you have to do, you know, prepare the live stream. This is all you need. And as you go through it, you can do this. And then once you get more sophisticated, you can do this, okay? You can create a heading. Oh my God, so advanced. You create a heading 1 and you're like, today, and then you can duplicate it right here and you say afterwards or whatever, and then you can take all of this and you can just drag and drop it into here. If I press Command D, I duplicate it, and then I love to do this. I'll show you one last tip, and this is literally all you need. This is how you manage your to-do list. I love this, and you can always expand this with more stuff, but like I don't want to, like it just makes it complicated. What you want to do here at a certain point, you want to add a toggle heading. So down here, you have a toggle heading somewhere. There's a lot of stuff here. Toggle heading 1, and you say done. And then what I love to do is once things are complete, I just select them and throw them into done. And then here, this is the ADHD pro tip. You can open this up at the end of a week or a day, and you can actually see everything that you did. This is the biggest advantage over a physical to-do list. This is amazing because then you get a feeling for all the things you did. If you just do physical to-do lists, you throw it out and you never see it again. And also, if you're building a business, pro tip, you can use this to improve your processes and maximize your time because you're going to see exactly what you did, right? And it just folds away into this. You can throw everything that you finish into here. So literally what I do in the evening or in the morning is like, okay, what do I need to get done today? I copy a bunch of these, or you say /to-do. You can create as many of these as you want. And then you can use video. Actually, I have to record that right now, so we have to wrap things up in a second here. But all these things, and then as you get them done, do that. And then maybe you want to do these like tomorrow and you want to prioritize this for today. And then this is your to-do list. So use a calendar, use a digital to-do list. Those would be my top tips. And then here you can start feeling good about yourself and everything you accomplished, and let things go in your head. You don't have to keep it in your RAM if you keep it in your Notion. And it's free. And there you go. Okay, that took more than 30 seconds, but the basic for setup takes 30 seconds, right? You create a heading and you create to-do items. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need all the fancy Notion stuff. This is like you can add it later on. You can learn it if you want. It's good to know that it's there if you need it, but hey. Hey, bye, Cloud. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, 300K. Dude, it's crazy. Guys, do you want to see the history of this channel? I want to show you the history of this channel in terms of subs. I think it's very... This is what it really is. Wait, where do we have this? Switch to my desktop and pull this over here. Look at that. Look at that. It took... Yeah, here I started uploading like twice a week on average, I think. Yeah, pretty much here. 10th of November, 2021. It took 1 year to go from 40 subs to 1,000 subs, basically. Yeah. 1,400 subs in a year. And then in the next year, 170,000 subs. In the next year, another 140,000 subs. Crazy, huh? 130. And then before that, how long did it take to get to 40 subs? Took a year to get to 40, took a year to get to 1,700, and then this. It's wild, huh? This was at this point, by the way, this was one of 3 channels I was uploading to regularly. Yeah. And my first channel I had back in I was 17, so that's 13 years ago. So that's 2011. So that's even before this. This was a different channel. That was a channel on Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering in the Xbox. Yeah, I was in the top 5 or top 10 or something of the world rank list, like in the ladder on the Xbox. I mean, not so many people played it, you know, so it's not the biggest accomplishment. But hey, I was up there, and then I was creating like YouTube videos on how to build decks. Yeah. Then I had one channel on video production, one channel documenting kind of my like a travel and whatever lifestyle channel. One channel on crypto games, but not focused on the investing and the crypto part. It was really just about, it was like a metaverse focused channel. Yeah. Yeah. I found that so interesting. I still do. Yeah. But it's far away. But that was what I was uploading here. Yeah. It was like metaverse projects and like what news come out around them. Some videos on like Facebook, Meta, what they were doing. Some on like crypto projects, but always like on the gaming aspect. And then I had one channel focused on, I think I had 7 in total. Yeah, I think my most clicked video was actually like a dev video, like how to. It was like a basic Solidity tutorial on how to. What was it? I would have to look it up. I forgot, but it was like how to do something basic on Ethereum. Yeah. Yeah, so that's 5 channels, 6 channels. I had one channel where I uploaded all of my nightlife videos. That wasn't really a channel though, but it had like 40 videos. I don't know, man, but it's been a long journey over 10 years. And I was like uploading for, 2 years, 1 year, multiple times a week before the first video hit. Yeah. Buy Cloud 3 years to get to 100K. Yeah, man, it's a grind. It's for sure. But it's also worth it, right? Because of the people at the end of the day. Hey, we get to live stream, we get to hang out like this. Toyota, yeah, the to-do list, the put hats on cats, essential. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a funny story because like the first, maybe I can show you some more stats, a little history lesson at the deep end of the stream here. Let's see. I was also live streaming once a week. I remember I was uploading every week and I was also live streaming once a week before the Gen AI stuff. Yeah. But yeah, you can. But this is crazy. This is kind of the moment here, right? So like last upload was like, now they're unlisted, these older videos, but this is 29th of November, 2022. Pretty much exactly 2 years ago, right? Yeah. The video Meta didn't want me to make, basically. Like the whole metaverse hype dying. Anyway, that has like 300 views, which was that was a lot for the channel. I think it had way less on average. Like average was like 100 views, I think. And then I did one ChatGPT video and that thing got like 60 views overnight or something. I was like, whoa, 60 views? Like people really care about this ChatGPT stuff. 5th of December, right? So I was like, okay, let's make another one. Okay, let's make another one. Let's make another. Look at this frequency. I was just on a streak, you know? Like I had a video production company and I was putting all my free money and time into this. So I was like, this one got a little more popularity than everything else I covered. I was like, wow, this is incredible. So basically started like prompting, like figuring out tricks to prompt this damn thing beginning of December. And by like 11th of December, I already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. So, 10 days after release, I had 5 videos already. And I just kept doing it. And like all these views came later, right? Like this thing had 500 views back then, right? So I just kept going. And then by the time like January came around, I had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I had 14 videos in December, right? And then January happened and the world kind of was like, holy moly, ChatGPT is a game changer. Let's start sharing it on LinkedIn. And that's where it exploded. Like this is where all the views started coming in. But like, yeah, actually in February, before that, nobody really cared about it. In December, nobody was talking about it. It was like a weird thing to be into. Like, what? Bro, what? AI? Huh? What? And now like everybody knows ChatGPT. It's crazy, huh? Yeah. In 1 year, you massively outperformed crypto, Ryan. I don't think that's too big of a challenge as it was just, it went like this. Oh, Niklas, man, you're the best. It's so good to have you around, dude. Yeah, for real. You're always such a positive person. Love having you around, man. And you always have so much to add to, whether in the community or on the YouTube. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. And yeah, everybody in this chat is just so much more context aware than, I don't know, common people who don't follow this stuff. And I think yeah, as I always say, all these skills stack, you know? So today we looked at automating things together, but every new prompt you learn about, every new tool you try out, all of these things can be combined in some manner with the power of automation tools, with the power of custom code, with the power of, I think, soon to be these platforms, right? Just like Kevin pointed out here, Gemini lets you integrate your Gmail account with the LLM. And that's just one of the early examples of how everything that you access now on the internet will already plugs into each other and will plug into each other even more. And AI is going to make the decision making and it's going to bring the intelligence into it. And I think that with all of, like, you know, I always say this, but if you're versed in basic prompting and you're versed in exploring or like expressing your personal context, and you're aware of different use cases and how to plug things into each other, you don't need to be able to do it. You just need awareness of how things plug into each other and can be combined. That puts you in a unique position, because when you get to sometimes you arrive at these crossroads in life, right? Where there's a big decision ahead, and you're just gonna see the world through a bit of a different lens. You're gonna see the decision through a bit of a different lens. Like there's this saying, I don't even know if it's a saying, but there's this like wisdom from investing that it's the best traders only make like one decision a year or something like that, right? I think that it's the same in life. Like these big decisions, they don't happen on a weekly or monthly basis. Like they come around once every few years maybe. And then it really matters what you do. Maybe you meet a person, maybe it's an interpersonal relationship, maybe it's a work decision. But if you're aware of all of this, if it's like Nicholas is saying, like if it's in your context window, if you're aware of the fact that you can, I don't know, use a no-code automation platform in tangent with a fine-tuned model, in tangent with 11 labs, you might become aware of ways to solve a problem that are impossible to see for somebody who doesn't have this context. If somebody spends 5 minutes with ChatGPT or somebody spends 50 hours with it, guess what? That second person is going to see the world in a bit of a different way. And I think that could be said about everything, right? It could be said about every book, for example. But I think the power that these tools hide differentiate it from just reading another book, for example. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Carol. Yeah, it's also wonderful to have it. Yeah, you're one of the day oneers, that's for sure. There's a Niklas. It's so nice to see. Yeah, it's lovely to have all of you around. All of the regulars in the community. Yeah. I'm so happy with what it all turned into at this point. Yeah. Super unique. Super unique. Ristic, thanks for leaving a comment. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, I would love to hear it, man. Hey, yo, if anybody has success stories, please drop them in here. Man, I should have ended 15 minutes ago, but no. Well, to be fair, the stream was scheduled for 1 hour. We're still hanging. Dude, I made 950 euros yesterday selling custom GPTs to automate a client's Instagram TikTok scripts using my uploaded knowledge and strategies. Viele checken noch nicht, was Potenzial KI hat. Yeah, he's saying a lot of people don't get what potential is hidden within AI. Yeah, I think it's like this combination of like domain-specific knowledge. I bet you have a lot of knowledge and strategies when it comes to creating IG scripts. And like this allows you to scale it in a way that others are not able to, right? Yeah. Yeah, amazing, man. Congrats on that. With great tools comes great responsibility, updated Stanley quote for current times. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But then also like these, like, let's be real, like these tools, they're not at a power level that, you know, if they were at a power level of if they would be an advantage, like having email over classic mail, you know, like something of that magnitude, then it would have changed society in a different way than it did. Right now, they're usually like double-digit productivity boosts in different domains. But yeah, as Ristic pointed out here, like if you know something already, like in this case, Instagram or TikTok script writing, like these tools allow you to amplify it in a big way. They're like steroids, right? Can like boost your ability to do this stuff. They allow you to scale it. They allow you to distribute it. Whereas before, like that skill is very hard to scale. Now you can build a bot with some of the knowledge, with some of the processes. You can build the automation with the process. You can build a simple agentic workflow where maybe there's one researcher that pulls data in here. Yeah, we've been working on something. That's why I'm a little hesitant there. But like you can build these flows where data comes in from certain parts. In the middle, it's some of your knowledge. It's like, hey, these are the 50 hooks that perform the best. It's the structure that it needs to maintain every single time. Like, cool, take in the news feed from over here, but this is what I want you to maintain. And then boom, here's the output. And all of a sudden you can scale your knowledge of that. So we're not at the in real life fight club yet. As in like a, That's one of my favorite movies. What exactly do you mean by that though? As in like a group of outcasts that like uncover, I don't know, the truth about themselves? Or like, there's so many ways to interpret that. I feel like it's kind of immoral to sell people something they could easily do themselves, but just don't have the knowledge. Man, Toyo, let's talk about this. And maybe let's wrap on this point, okay? Because this one is a very, very important one to me. Toyo, I see what you're saying, man. I've had this dialogue with myself, the team, and so many people that I know many, many times. Because it's very relevant to also what we do, right? Like, hey, some of these videos that like did really well on the channel, I don't know, what do I have here in front of me? Like, for example, 5 secrets to writing with ChatGPT. This was one of the early videos in like beginning of December. Like, can people figure out themselves how to use a style inside of their prompting? Of course. All you need to do is sit there and throw 100 different prompts at it. All you need to do there is have some knowledge of writing and ask it the right questions, right? That's not, for some people, that is not a high value added activity. But what if you don't have the context of writing? What if you're not even aware of the fact that there is something like a brand voice in marketing? What if you're not aware of the fact that the Vogue writes in a different way than National Geographic writes their articles? What if this is the first time you're writing? You're not going to intuitively go towards the fact that you can prompt all of these things. You're not going to figure out the fact that you can prompt, hey, write this in the brand voice of Harley Davidson, right? That's not something that's intuitive to many people. Nevertheless, it can be easily figured out. So then what you're kind of offering there is not, as you put it, the knowledge. You're not selling the knowledge. You're selling the time they save, right? It's not the same thing. Everything, they can figure this thing out themselves, right? Like, just like with, what would be a good example? Just like with a car, right? Or with an Uber. You're not selling the fact that they could call a cab. You're not selling the fact that they could get into the car and drive themselves. You're selling the time savings. Why do you pay for the Uber? Why do you pay for food delivery to your home? You could go and get it yourself. Would it be unethical? Is it unethical to offer food delivery? I don't think so. You're selling time savings for people. And that's a problem with info products in the internet. There's a few problems, but like one problem is this, that a lot of the times you're selling time, right? Like the templates we sell, right? Is this something you could figure out yourself? Could you yourself generate 45,000 prompts categorized by 1,600 professions? Yes, sure. If you know how to craft personal context, if you know what use cases work, if you know how to craft prompt generators, you could reproduce some of it, maybe all of it yourself. How much time is that going to take? I can tell you how much time it took us. We've been iterating over it for a year. We're at update number 9 or 10 now. And the initial thing took us about 2 things to put together. 2 weeks. It's like two, maybe 3 people collaborated on it with all the images and all the database work. So, you could totally do that yourself. 100%. But if you make, I don't know, $20 an hour, what would you rather spend your time doing? Doing what you're good at and making money, and then paying, I don't know, if it's $20, then I don't know, paying 4 hours of your time for a product like that? Or would you rather do what you do anyway and then spend your time off with something else? Would you rather pay for the delivery or for the Uber, or would you rather drive yourself? Well, it turns out the answer is often that time is the most valuable currency we have in many cases, right? And for some people who have an hourly wage of $200, well, in their case, paying $100, if it can save them half an hour, it's worth it. If it can save them 5 hours, it's a no-brainer. So this would be my advice to you. Think about the target audience, because sure, somebody who really struggles to make ends meet, and maybe is making minimum wage, or maybe is from a country where the wages are lower. Value is subjective, and it depends on the value of your time. And a lot of people in the Western world just value it at a different pace. So if you have unique knowledge, and I'll end on this, if you have unique knowledge that you can offer to somebody, and you can save somebody else's time, then there's actually an argument to be made that you have a moral obligation to do that. Because the world is calling for you, and it's calling for what you can provide, and you're not the one that should judge if what you have to offer is of any value. That is for others to judge. So, yeah. And then find the ones that need the knowledge. These streams are not for everyone. This channel is not for everyone. YouTube is not for everyone. Some people don't even speak English, Like you could break it down by so many ways, but it's not about the people it's not for, it's about the ones that it is for. It's about the difference you can make. You have to look at the other side of the coin. It's not about the people who can acquire the knowledge themselves who wouldn't value you. It's about the ones who would value you and what you can offer to the world. And and if you look at their needs, you might even find that you even have a moral obligation to actually help them. And of course, it depends also on the complexity of the task, but just think about it in terms of time savings, man. If somebody makes $200 an hour and you can sell them something for $100 that saves them an hour, they've just made $100. And that's just how the world works. Okay. Yeah. All right, Gina. Yeah. Community value is implementation. Yeah, I agree. And 100%. Skill building, implementation, and the network to support you along the way. So many people don't want to learn AI, and they will not be as good in life as people that use AI. I don't know. Maybe that's I don't know. Depends. It might be a bit of an overgeneralization, because you could draw the parallel to like search. So many people, or like computers. So many people don't want to learn computers. But I think in terms of productivity, that seems to be pretty black and white in most domains. All right. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's wrap it up here. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on this little almost 3 hour long journey. We covered a lot of ground, looked at some automations. We're going to do this again on Friday, which is in 2 days. Check out the quiz that I shared with you. Get your personalized AI resources for free. That's really cool. Also, the automation today is freely available. Links in the description. What else? Friday stream, Saturday stream with some guests, Monday stream looking at the results of the community challenge. And then lastly, I would say if you enjoy this kind of format of hanging out and of like real conversations with real people, and you would like to do this more often with more people than just me, like more like-minded people, that's exactly what the community is there for. And I'm proud of what we built there. It's not for everybody. It is quite pricey. We have a great deal running on it now. You know, the yearly sub is 40% off for this week only. So if you want to build some of these skills and you want to have an event schedule of around 15 to 20 events a month like this, but some in a group setting, some lectures, some guest lecturers, AI founders, all of that is in there. Yeah, I feel I just wanted to point that out because it's very similar to the streams. And other than that, I will see you on Friday, where we will reveal a few more things. We will look at some fun prompt engineering techniques. We're going to build a little assistant that will help you navigate Black Friday and maybe get your hands of some of those deals that you do not need. Thank you so much for the 300K. Thank you so much for hanging around. And is there a way to access LinkedIn pages by only using ChatGPT? Ryan is asking. You just try it. I think sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. It's a bit tricky. Just like with this automation, sometimes it gives you no access because LinkedIn blocks you. We had that struggle in the beginning. We overcame it. Thank you so much, everybody. Do you have a paid AI community with nerds, not beginners? I think I think our paid AI community is both. We have both nerds and beginners. Hey, you can be both. But yeah, a lot of people there on different levels. Yeah, man, you can check out the description for that. All right. Toyo, Josephine, Ristic, Sarah, Ryan, and Ryan Gosling. Arab Ryan Gosling, I suppose, in that picture. Josephine, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. Carol, see you on Friday. Igor out, 3-hour stream. Let's go. This was fun, though. Bye-bye.